Hello, Philadelphia! I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show!
Well, good morning, everybody. Well, happy Monday to all across the Delaware Valley. This is the Anthony Gargano Show, brought to you by the Bet Park Sportsbook and Casino app. That's right, download it. All the baseball you want, baby. Right now, you would be on fire with the Bet Parks app if you're playing the fighting Phillies, because the Phillies just flexed with a PH last night on national TV. Sunday Night Baseball. I love Sunday Night Baseball. It was here last night, and the Phillies flexed. How about this? This is just amazing, the run that they're on right now. So they win last night 5-4, right? Thanks to King Bryce with yet another nationally televised home run bomb off Logan Webb. So they've won 5 in a row. They've won 9 out of 10, 16 of 19. They have the best record in all of the major leagues, 24-11. It's now their best start since 1995. They're up 2.5 games on Atlanta. It's amazing. They've won 9 in a row at Citizens Bank Park, 9 straight. Now, what they're establishing is, and they've done it in the playoffs last year, and this is huge, right? This is a big deal. They're establishing home dominance. They're establishing that Citizens Bank Park is impossible for road teams to come to. And that's huge. Listen, like we've seen this before, where the Braves get the best record and the Phillies will bounce them out, right? It's baseball. Come playoff time, you know how it is. It's another season, and you're at the whims of arms, right? Health, bats. Are they hot? Are they cold? All that stuff. The beauty of what the Phillies are doing right now is they're smoking and they're establishing home field dominance. So if you can get home field throughout, now they're up on the Dodgers. Let's see. It's going to be that's a big race to follow, because if you can secure home field, now you come back and every series at home is a big deal, because teams look at it and go, oh, my God, I got to go to Citizens Bank Park. And it was loud last night. Listen, for a early May night, it was loud. And you know what that's like in October. Citizens Bank Park is menacing. And this team is just menacing. No Trea Turner for 6 weeks. So, you're going to have to navigate without Turner, who was playing really good ball. The beauty is the rotation. So last night we saw it again. The rotation, this time, Taijuan Walker, 6 1/3, all right, allows 3 runs. 2 came on the Estrada home run in the 7th inning. Only 5 hits, 7 strikeouts, only 1 walk. And the 7 Ks, I think 5 of them were looking, right? So 5 of them were called out on 3rd strikes. And that tells you they were having a tough time picking up his stuff. He was fooling them. He had very good command. He said it afterwards. He had real good command. Now imagine if you got Walker pitching that way. You got Wheeler, who goes today in the series finale at 4 o'clock. So you got your ace. You got your, number 2 right now, and this is no disrespect to Aaron Nola, is the Ranger. The Ranger is a possible Cy Young candidate, all right? Nola. So the top of your rotation is ridiculous. Turnbull continues to pitch well. And then if you got Taijuan Walker, because Sanchez a little up and down, right? You get Taijuan Walker right. Oh, my God. This rotation is amazing. Right? As it is, what they have gotten in the first month and change, 6 weeks of the season from this starting rotation has been unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. And you look at it last night, the way they approach the plate, they just look, this early, they look so good. And I know we've made a big deal about the starts, and it was funny. When they were at 500, they lost the first game. People were freaking out. Oh, my God, you're 2-4. Oh, no. What happened to the fast start? And here we are, May 6th, and look where they're at. They've got off to a torrid start. And I love their approach. Like last night, listen, I thought that was a tough game last night. Going into it, and especially when you pop off the way they popped off on Saturday, right? Crooked numbers. It was insane. So then you come back and you got Logan Webb. And Logan Webb is very good. He had success his previous couple outings. He pitched really well, right? He's a guy that can be very dangerous. He's got a great changeup. And Bryce talked about it after the game, which was their approach to that changeup. So he was getting frustrated because he wasn't getting that changeup over early. They hit backwards off him. It was really impressive. I mean, really impressive how they really got to him. They were patient, because you have to be patient. And we saw that against Arizona in the playoffs, right? Like, one of the reasons why you lose game 6 and 7 is they pitch you backwards. So if they pitch you backwards and you're not feasted off of fastballs, and you know the Phillies, right? Phillies are fastball hitting teams. They crush fastballs. That's who they are. They dead red hitting team. So their patience was on display last night. And that's what did him in game 6 and game 7 was the lack of patience. You saw Logan Webb last night. He was at 70 pitches in 4 innings, right? Like you run up his pitch count because you're not hacking away at his stuff. You're laying off your breaking ball. You're laying off that changeup. He couldn't throw the changeup. And that was a big deal and why you win. I was supremely impressed. Alec Bohm, yet another hit, ropes that double. 18-game hitting streak, longest to date in the majors this season. We saw it was Alec Bohm night over the weekend at Citizens Bank Park. I love this place, which was just classic. Man, Phillies, they're going to be a fun watch this summer. Want you to bear down. Look, Sixers go down, as we know, and we start to focus. Flyers fall short in their playoff run. So now it's it. The Phillies are on center stage. The Phillies are going to be in our consciousness, right? Draft is over. This is it. And we got a gift. We got a great baseball team. So let's talk a lot of fightings today. We'll get into it with some Phillies. Derek Bodner will join us from our All Sixers PHLY show. So with the Sixers going down, we now turn to the offseason. And this will be a dramatic offseason. Derek is fantastic when it comes to understanding the NBA salary cap ramifications, kind of looking at how you're going to build this roster. We're all going to learn about roster construction during this piece. Like during this period of time, it's going to be about roster construction, cap, who we fitting in. There's already talk, right? I'm all in on LeBron. Now, again, I don't know if he's going to leave. He's attached there, the whole thing. But I got to make every effort to lure LeBron here. This is his best chance for a championship, is to play alongside Joel and Tyrese. So that would be my number one choice. You know, I hear the Jimmy Butler stuff. You have to trade for Jimmy Butler. I don't know how anxious I am to trade for Jimmy again. I just don't know. I mean, look, if I exhaust all my options and LeBron's not interested, staying in L.A., Paul George staying in L.A., right? You look around, Siakam is going back to Indiana. I mean, I certainly consider it. You know, I don't hate Jimmy. I like him. I just don't know how much I trust him at this age. I trust LeBron more at an older age because, look, you could see him. I mean, he's like Brady. His body's in amazing shape. He knows how to win. And Jimmy's a winner, but I just don't know. I don't know. When I look at the two, I have a lot more confidence in LeBron than actually having to trade. And that's the issue. Like, what am I giving up? Obviously, it's draft picks. So how many? What am I giving up? So we'll get into that. I was watching the NHL playoffs over the weekend too, man. I can't wait for Flyers to get back there. Like the thrilling nature of the NHL playoffs. You know, I'm watching Dallas win like they survived last night against Vegas in a Game 7. And like, you know, the crowd goes nuts. Then I'm watching and I'm starting to get jealous in New York because I see Rangers, Carolina, and, you know, the Rangers take Game 1 and the Garden's crazy. Now the Garden, right? They have Rangers yesterday and then tonight they get Knicks Pacers. So it's like, oh man, all of a sudden the Garden's back with activity and I'm missing our Wells Fargo. So lots to get to today and big week. The schedule, the NFL schedule comes out. Now we know the opponents, but there's nothing like when the NFL schedule comes out. I love that stuff because then you got an order, you get to plan out your fall. It's the greatest, man. So the NFL schedule comes out Thursday. We'll do stupid W's and L's, which I love. I don't care. Unabashedly love that stuff. That's popping off. Brought to you by Olipop, the amazing soda that's good for you. Yeah, that has all the great taste of soda, but it's actually incredible and has so much good stuff for you. Good morning, JP.
Buenos dias, cuz. How we feeling?
Look at that. I love that sweatsuit.
I appreciate it. I came back in one piece. I survived the
You're in New York.
Yeah, the vile place that is New York City. I'm back in one piece. I still have my
Was your show at the Garden? Who'd you see again?
So his name is Andrew Schultz. By the way, I thought he was really good. I was not really into Andrew Schultz too much, but he definitely got a fan after Saturday. But yeah, so listen, obviously in the Garden, you know, you walk by, you see Knicks posters everywhere. I had to walk by a Shake Milton poster before walking into the Garden. I had to see that mother effer on the wall as I walk in there. It was not even just the Knicks, because obviously you just mentioned it too. Like the Rangers are hot right now. Everyone in New York is feeling like they could go on a Stanley Cup run too.
Between the Rangers and are you kidding me? And the Knicks, like, you know.
Well, I woke up to a terrible tweet. So there's a possibility, cuz listen to this. The Eastern Conference for both the NBA and the NHL, the conference finals, it could be New York and Boston. Guys, do you understand this? Like all the torture that we go through as Philly sports fans, right? We could possibly be talking about Eastern Conference finals for both the NBA and the Stanley Cup playoffs, where it is New York and Boston. And as a Philadelphian, how can we sit here and be okay with this? These are the two cities that we hate the most. But unfortunately, that is what we're talking about. So I'm in MSG, you know, I'm watching the show, getting ready. We got some opening acts. And then here comes Andrew Schultz. Because first 4 minutes of his opening act, he brings up the Knicks.
Oh, Oh, God.
He's talking about the freaking Knicks. Thanking the Knicks because if the Knicks didn't win on Thursday, we wouldn't have that show on Saturday.
Right, because it would have been kicked out. It would have been Sixers Knicks Saturday night.
So I had to go through that all again. But, because even with all that, like.
How about the Phillies, though? Here's what New York doesn't have. New York doesn't have the Phillies. The Phillies are better than the Yankees.
We got, yes, that they definitely are right now. But we definitely have the better National League team. And that's definitely the best part about it. But now it was freaking awesome. On Friday, I walked around in my Philly stuff. Sunday, too, I was walking around in my Philly stuff. Unfortunately, I didn't get too much slack. And like you said, especially like when you're in Manhattan, like everyone from New York, no one is from New York. Like I was talking to people, in different businesses, restaurants and such, and I'm hearing them talking. It's like, where's the New York accent? Where is that ugly New York accent? These are all just freaking transplants that just live there.
I mean, the real New Yorkers are in the boroughs.
Yeah,
that's solid. And real sports fans are in the boroughs. Man, the Manhattan is like London.
Well, Saturday was the Leafs and Bruins. Me being a Philadelphia, I hate Boston, right? So I see Leafs fans. I'm like, let's go Leafs, and they're like, yes. Like, how are you? It's game 7 against your team you hate the most.
I mean, I didn't realize this until you brought it up to me, that they have lost since 2013. Toronto has lost 4 game 7s to Boston.
Imagine.
4 game 7s. Could you want to talk about torture? If we lost 4 game 7s, though, I thought we were tortured by the Celtics, right?
Nuts.
Especially early 80s. And now recent, right? Again, we got tortured by the Celtics. But 4 game 7s? Are you kidding me?
That's bad. Yeah, no, we obviously, listen, it's not fun being a Philadelphia sports fan, but that's terrible. So they pretty much own. Imagine a Toronto fan my age, all they know is Boston owning them. Like that's all they know. At least the Sixers have lost to.
That's a your daddy piece.
Yeah.
Like 4, seriously. 4 game 7s? Like to lose 4 games? Oh my God, I'd be out of my mind. Like to lose 4 game 7s to one team, and to that team, and they're 2 original 6s.
Yeah, that's a good
no,
point.
Listen, I was rooting on Leafs too.
Same.
I was all Austin Matthews up.
And who gets the game winner in overtime?
Pasternak.
That guy brings nightmares.
He's
Freddy Krueger.
He is. Pasta Man is. He is. He's Freddy Krueger.
He's Freddy Krueger.
But again, let me just say this, because I want to talk a lot of Phillies today.
Yeah.
All right. Like last night, Sunday Night Baseball, and I brought up in the opening that what they're establishing, they've won 9 in a row at Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah.
They just don't lose.
No.
And they've established it in the playoffs. They've established Citizens Bank Park as a place of dominance, as a place that they've owned. All right. And I think that's big going forward.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, listen, what they're doing right now is freaking awesome because also keep this in mind. This isn't a baseball team that notoriously, especially over the past couple of years, start off quick, right? They're one of the hottest, if not the hottest baseball team. And obviously, like the Trea Turner news it sucks because the dude was having a great season.
Yeah.
You feel for him. But hindsight, you can't be too worried about this team without Trea because this team is absolutely raking.
Look at Sosa.
Yeah.
Sosa comes in last night.
Listen, and
Munda. No, listen, Sosa's, they're so deep. They're a deep team. I agree with you. I'm not, again, it sucks. Like you're going to miss Trea, but I don't worry about them.
Well, the big part about their quick start too is that the starting rotation.
You're going to have Merrifield kicking. Like you got a lot of versatility. Like, and Witt hit a home run the other day. So you got versatility. You want to play Stoddard short. You want to play Sosa. You could do stuff to get you past that.
Yeah, especially when it gets warmer. The bats are always getting hot as well. So
I got to tell you, Bryce, man, I love Harper. I mean, I got to tell you, he's the greatest. He's just the greatest. He's King Bryce, man. He's the great. He's the best.
It's his town right now.
You gotta love him, man.
Yeah,
he's so. And it's national TV. I knew he was going to hit a home run last night. I was like, he's going yard last night. National TV. He's got just the flair for the dramatic. What a player. Like he's just such a great player.
You got one of the best in the game, who really has just connected with the city as well. That's like the best part about it too. Like this man
Yes.
become Philadelphia too, which is something I genuinely do love. But I mean, we all know the greatness of Bryce Harper.
No, and listen, you're right about, and we always talk about how he embraces Philadelphia and he's Mr. Philadelphia, and it's beautiful, right? And I take that and I go, that's awesome, but he's great. Like his greatness, he's such a big time bright lights player, man.
I mean, just look at last year. I mean, that injury was pretty nasty for most players. That would have sidelined for the whole year.
They were talking about last on the broadcast, and we sometimes we'll take it for granted.
Mm-hmm.
He's become a great first baseman. He's a great first. It's unbelievable. Like he's become a great first baseman. Like you take that for granted. And think about it. Like we should joke about first baseman. Like I always would say that a great fielding first baseman is like a supermodel who can cook, right? Like you go, all right, that's bonus, man. Like I whatever. But like, I need you to rake, right? Like,
I like your comparison.
Like, no, right? I need you to rake. I need you. You're my first baseman. I need you to be a run producer.
Yeah.
And there's nothing worse than an all glove first baseman. You just can't win with your first baseman being an all glove guy. Now, if you can field on top of it, that goes back to the analogy.
Yeah, I mean, but like I remember like before Reese's injury, right? I would hear a lot of discourse online about like, oh, we need to get a better first baseman, Reese, and who would have thought that the good first baseman was on this team? He just had to move Bryce from right to first. But no, he obviously, like, we all know Bryce has athleticism. So like when those balls are just a little bit out to reach, that's what Bryce Harper's athleticism comes into play, and that's the beauty of him. But now he's found his position. That defense is incredible in the infield. Obviously, Edmundo Sosa, he has that glove, so you don't feel too bad about the infield right now with Trea Turner out. And Bryce Harper is freaking awesome.
It really is, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, not for nothing, but my God, he's just something special.
This team's fun.
Something special, man.
And listen, this baseball team's got to carry us for a couple months here until we get into OTAs and mini camp and training camp.
I mean, they're just fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. So, and obviously this week we have a couple opponents here that the Phillies should be able to take advantage of. And so without Trea Turner, what you want to see is just be getting these guys to keep the ball rolling. And that's what we hope to see.
Yeah.
Get a little bit winning streak. Obviously, the Braves are braving right now.
You know what it is? Like, I say this all the time, but it's true. Like, when you have a good baseball team, it's a gift.
Yeah.
It's a gift because all the summer holidays, Memorial Day weekend, July 4th, right? All the shore trips. If you think back to all the shore trips and all your time wherever you go, Sea Isle, Ocean City, Wildwood, right? When you see all that stuff, having the Phillies, man, they're a part of the summer. They're a part of the summer memories that you make. That's why I love a good.
Summer with the Phils is awesome.
Yeah.
I'll be having my flag down there, my hats, and of course,
it's the best.
Having them on the radio while you're sitting back on the Brigantine jetty. It's going to be freaking awesome.
It really is.
Beach, baseball, and hoagies, cuz.
That's right.
That's what I'm all about.
It is National Hoagie Day yesterday.
Cinco de Hoagie.
Cinco de Hoagie was yesterday, right? It was fantastic. Let's talk about Primos. Thank you all for that, because they dropped the bag off to celebrate National Hoagie Day, which was yesterday. We love our Primo hoagies. And we talk about the food of summer. I mean, there's barbecue and there's Primos, right? There's like the hoagies and the backyard barbecue and any kind of picnics and hanging out. There's no better picnic food than a hoagie. You were talking about summer beach stuff, right? You got the hoagies are perfect for it. Little League and sports, you name it. Primo hoagies. You can't beat it. And what I love about Primos, too, is that, look, there's something for everybody. There's a taste for everyone. So you might like the turkey or the ham or the Italian or the chicken cutlet or the meatball or the vegetable, the nonna, right? Like you have all those different hoagies they got a taste for everyone. And, of course, all the sides, the pepperoni and the cheese and the pepper shooters, all those goodies It's always a big treat. All right. And those sandwiches always made on that incredible seeded roll. Baked fresh in store every couple hours. And they taste, trust me, I was there for the original, 1992 on Rittner Street in South Philadelphia. And the taste is exactly the same. Go to PrimoHoagies.com for the location nearest you. There's over 90 across the Delaware Valley. There's going to be one near you. Primo hoagies, you'll say what I always say. It's not just a hoagie. It's a Primo. Now, let me tell you about True Fan Travel, your passport to the world of sports. So I mentioned earlier, Thursday, the schedule comes out. So Thursday, we may know the opponents, but we don't know when. And Thursday's the day. Now, I know Vince, if you remember Philly sports trips, well, that's True Fan Travel. And Vince Rizzuto and Bob Cavanaugh, they're going to be rolling Thursday. This is it. They're going to be planning all the junkets, all those football trips, beginning with Brazil against the Packers, Eagles, Packers in Brazil, right? They have a trip for that one. So if you want to see South America, then you get to go and see birds. They got a great trip for that. They have all kinds of, the trips are great. You have New Orleans, you have Tampa, so all kinds of great stuff, great away trips. Check out True Fan Travel. Now, here's the beauty of True Fan Travel, right? The international series, like they're taking a bunch of people to London to see the Phillies. You want to see soccer abroad? You want to see football abroad? You got to get to know True Fan Travel. Oh, my God, you're the greatest. Explore the wide selection of destinations, iconic sports cities, hidden gems where the spirit of the game comes alive. And I know Vince and Bob, they put on a great trip. And there's nothing better than traveling with your brethren to all these cities, to all these bucket list types of moments. Visit truefantravel.com and learn more. Book your next adventure, truefantravel.com. All right. Now, joining us, I want to do this because we put a bow on this Sixers season. Sixers are over, as we know. We kind of came to grips with it Friday after that Game 6 loss to the Knicks. But the interesting thing about the Sixers is the offseason, because this is the do-or-die offseason. 7 playoff appearances since the post process began. They have yet to get out of the second round. We knew that this day was coming. We knew that this offseason was on the horizon. We had one eye. And even we looked at this year and said, okay, well, it's probably a gap year, but that's okay because of this offseason. It's that important. Joel at 30. How much time do you have remaining? His co-star Tyrese Maxey solidified himself as a superstar in the league and ascending. So what's next for the Eel and Daryl Morey? Let's go to our man, Derek Bodner. All PHLY Sixers show, does a great job. And Derek has a keen understanding of the salary cap, of roster construction. I love the way you do this, Derek. You really have a handle on this. And this is going to be your time to shine, buddy.
Thank you, I appreciate that. It is something where it feels like the NBA is trending more and more towards like a football type of thing where the offseason is just as important as the regular season, and that is especially true with this team because, like you said, this really feels like sort of like the last hurrah, the last bit of flexibility they have to get a real difference maker alongside Joel Embiid. It feels a little bit like 2018 back when they were pursuing LeBron and they had max cap space and they had all kinds of stuff to trade. And you had a young talent in Ben Simmons who the city still believed in. The one key difference is that Joel Embiid is 6 years older. And because of that, this is, there is more pressure on this one than there ever has been to get this right. Because I think one of the most unforgivable sins is for a franchise to waste a superstar's prime. And the Sixers are, look, they got a little bit of a Hail Mary there with Tyrese Maxey that extends the window quite a bit. But they have one more big move they need to make, and that will happen this summer if it ever does.
So let's look at the candidates, right? Like my number one choice, assuming that Siakam goes back to Indiana because Indiana has the bird rights, so can pay him more than anybody else. would be LeBron. I mean, it makes perfect sense for LeBron to come here and show them how to win. He can win here where he probably can't win in LA. How do you assess the top choices?
Yeah, it's always tough because so much of it's going to come down to what LeBron wants and what Paul George wants, and Daryl Morey can have his eyes on either of them or both of them, and it may not end up mattering, especially in Paul George's case. I still believe if Steve Ballmer pays Paul George, then I don't think the Sixers are going to have a chance to pursue him. But that contract is going to be all of these contracts are going to be terrifying. I think LeBron's probably more amenable to a short-term deal just because that's been his history. But do either one of them really want to leave LA? I think LeBron's probably the more likely candidate just because, like you said, I think the Sixers have a better chance to compete. I think Paul George really wants to be home. And like I said, if the Clippers do end up paying him, I think he will end up staying there. But that is still a big if because that is going to be, like I said, a pretty bad contract. Neither of them are necessarily. I think Paul George conceptually, just as a skill level, is probably the cleaner fit. He's a little more comfortable playing off ball. He's still got a little more left defensively, I think, than LeBron does. At this point, LeBron has to conserve his energy a little bit. But there is just when you have a chance to get the generational player of this era, even if he is 39 going on 40, that is always going to have an allure. And because he's been there so many times, and Sixers and Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey obviously have not. Look, I think Daryl Morey's in a position where if he can get either one of them, he's going to pursue them hard.
Do you think it almost feels like the reason why I look at LeBron, right? And it's the obvious. He treats his body like Brady treated his body. So the longevity thing is not as scary for 2 years. But it's more the idea of teaching them how to win. It almost feels like, and you saw a little bit down the stretch in the Knicks games, although that series was incredibly exciting series, they really need to learn how to win. Like that game 2, up by 5, 30-some seconds left, like you got to win that game. And that's kind of what LeBron brings, which is the blueprint to understanding how to win. And that's kind of been an issue through the post-process days.
Yeah, and I think sometimes when people will hear knowing how to win, they will think it's just like sports talk speak. But no, that's experience. That is knowing how to react in key moments. That is knowing the counter when teams come at you. Like so much of Tyrese Maxey's development over the last couple of years, there's a huge jump in skill level, and especially with that outside shot. But a big reason he got better from last year to this year is because he saw a lot more defenses. He now knows how to react to stuff that 2 years ago he had no idea how to react to. And he's still not completely there. Like you mentioned in game 2, if he calls a timeout, the Sixers may still be playing basketball. That's okay. He's a young ascending star, but that is knowing how to win. That's almost quite literally knowing how to win in that instance. But so much of the game is just, like I said, picking up on tendencies, knowing how to respond under pressure situations. That comes from experience. Nobody has more experience than LeBron, quite literally, in terms of the number of minutes that he's played. And nobody really thinks the game at a higher level than LeBron. And even if his physical skills are declining, and look, like you mentioned, there is no 39-year-old in better shape than LeBron James. And with the way he's played the last couple of years, any concern you would have about the aging, he proves that wrong almost every single time. There is still a concern, for sure. Everyone reaches a threshold where they just can't do it anymore. But, yeah, I certainly agree that he would have a big imprint on this team, and his experience and his knowledge are a part of that equation for sure.
Derek Bodner with us, the big story of the day presented by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Check out TrueMark.com/PHLY. Stop at your local branch. Learn more about the credit union difference at TrueMark Financial today. All right, so brother, let's look at this. If PG stays in LA, LeBron stays in LA, Siakam stays in Indiana, where are you at? Now, all the Jimmy rumors have started to surface again that he may be unhappy in Miami, and that, of course, would have to be a trade. So let's make you Daryl Morey. If that scenario happens, what's your strategy?
Yeah, and look, I think with Jimmy, would I talk myself into it? Sure. Jimmy's a fantastic player to watch. He brings a lot of that grit and determination I think a lot of people think this team lacks. He has a friendship with Joel Embiid that still exists. We would all talk ourselves into it for sure, but there's a lot of risk in that one. The number of miles he's played, he struggles to get through a regular season healthy as well. He not only would you have to give a big extension to, but you would have to give a couple of first-round draft picks to, which would compromise your trade flexibility. There is concern there. I think he is the riskiest of the three. But like I said, would I talk myself into it? Absolutely. I'm a fan of basketball, and it would be fun to watch. I think real interesting Go ahead.
No, I was just
Oh,
saying.
I thought you were gonna. Yeah.
You know why I was laughing? Because I had the same exact reaction, which is I don't love it for all the reasons you said. Like, you just can't count on him, like health wise, and Jimmy's Jimmy, like he's in his, his own character. But I could talk myself into it. Like if those odds are up, just like you.
Yeah. No, I think it starts. Look, there are some lower level free agents out there like Bruce Brown, Malik Monk, things of that. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, I believe, is a free agent. There are lower level role players that you could go out there and target. And with the Sixers, they could have upwards of $65 million in cap space, depending on who they renounce and who they let go. You could sign 2 or maybe even 3 role players of that ilk. I think the thing to really watch out for, though, is trades. This is there's a new collective bargaining agreement that just took in effect. I think it was 2 years ago. Some of the impacts of that are still coming in. It's a lot more punitive for high dollar teams than it was in the past. There's what's called a second apron, and it is as close as the NBA has ever gotten to a hard cap. It's not a true hard cap, but once you exceed that, making moves becomes really, really difficult. I think a lot of teams are going to try to avoid being up in that range. And that's going to make a lot of teams look at maybe some of these long-term deals that were previously under the former CBA viewed as a good contract, one that they want to get out of. And the Sixers having cap space have a lot more flexibility in terms of taking back salary. So I think if you strike out on your top couple of free agents, I expect this to be a heavier than normal trade period there in the summer. And a big part of that is because of the changes in the collective bargaining agreement. So I think a lot of this, we could go through the Bruce Browns and Malik Monks and all that of the world. I think a lot of it could then come down to, if you miss out on your top targets, what moves what are the players under contract that we're not even thinking about right now? That's part of why I think it could be a real hectic summer.
What do you think of Lauri Markkanen? I like the way he could fit.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, and he's perfect because he's young. Like, you could see, he could help you if you're looking at it with Joel and Tyrese having maybe like a 3-year window. Well, Joel's still going to be really good. Markkanen can then help you alongside Tyrese Maxey after that sort of transition. He would be great for a long-term piece. There's a lot of report out there that Utah has no interest in moving him, that if they did, the price would be obscene. A lot of times when GMs talk to local reporters about the trade value of players currently under contract, they're not being entirely truthful. It is propaganda as much as it is a true reflection of what it would take. That being said, all the reports coming out of Utah are that he's pretty much off the table and that a trade package would be obscene. And it makes sense. He is a young, really good two-way big who can spread the floor. He would fit, like I said, alongside Joel Embiid in minutes. Without Joel Embiid, he could be your backup center. He'd be fantastic. I'm just not sure he's really all that gettable.
All right, so Derek Bodner with us. I love he's our GM on staff, man. Nobody has an understanding of the NBA salary cap and of player contracts like Derek. This portion of the Anthony Gargano Show is brought to you by Rite Aid. That's right. Visit your local Rite Aid pharmacy. Stock up on allergy relief or catch up on immunizations for RSV, shingles, and more. Walk in or schedule a vaccine appointment at riteaid.com. All right, so I want to see, forget contract situations, right? Let's look at the trade pieces. Are there players that on your own wish list that you would circle, that you would say, I want to inquire about player X?
That's a great question. I'll be honest, I haven't really started fully diving into that as of yet. Obviously, everyone is going to bring up Devon's cousin, and of course, you're going to inquire about Bridges Mikal Bridges, as often and as frequently and as forcefully as you can. He would be pretty close to a perfect fit. In terms of other players who aren't necessarily, like I said, a free agent, I haven't truthfully completely gone through that list and audio just screwed up. Gone through that list and gone. No, I don't necessarily have a great answer.
Oh, that's all right. Let me throw one at you. My man Eddie Wright throws out DeJounte Murray.
Yeah, he's one that we talked about a lot here over the weeks and months leading up to the trade deadline. He has obviously the fit in Atlanta with Trae Young has not been perfect, and they have not reached the success that you would want. He shot the 3 ball a lot better for much of this year, and because of that, I think there's some level of interest. I think he's always been a little overrated as a defender, useful, not a bad defender, but maybe not quite as good as he looked in his early career in San Antonio. But because of that development of the 3 ball, there's some interest. But I worry about what he wants his role to be. I think he wants to be a lead guard and he's not going to be that here, or at least he's going to have to share that ball handling responsibilities with Tyrese Maxey. So can you keep him happy for the duration of the contract and his next contract? That would be where some of my concern comes in. But clearly, Atlanta's going to look to make significant changes, and he is most likely one to move. So I think with him, it's going to in part come down to what other options are out there. Ideally, I think I would want a little more size, a little more comfortability playing off ball, because even with him, he's still, even with the improved jump shot, he still wants to create off the dribble, create off of a pick and roll. And I do worry a little bit about that fit with Maxey. But in terms of talent level, I think he's up towards the top of what you're going to be able to do if you strike out on the big names. It just is the fit right, and I do have my concerns there. And can you keep him happy long term?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not in love with the fit there. Listen, if you have your druthers, you got to get it. You need a wing. Like they've been devoid of wings. Like we've had nothing but legs and thighs. Right? Like
Yes.
we got to get a wing. Like it excites me. Like that's why I think about marketing, right? Because he's the stretch forward type, and he's a good fit. Like he may not be a traditional three, but he's a good fit. He can shoot it, the whole thing. We talk about Mikal all the time, and he was the perfect fit. Oh my God! So I have Jay Wright coming on Thursday, right? And one of the things during this period that they have missed so badly is the Villanova player, right? Like the Villanova player is a winner. Jay makes them into winners. And then we got it shoved down our throat in this series, Derek. Like they had Villanova in their backyard and failed to take advantage of it.
Yeah, and it really is. I hate being overly reductive about this, but like if you just swapped out Tobias Harris for Josh Hart, I think the Sixers are still playing basketball. It's just making one change on the roster with one player on the roster, and I think it could swing the entire series. Yeah, they don't, and most of the guys who would fill that role, like Kyle Lowry might sort of have that kind of in him, and obviously he went to Villanova, but he's 38. Like you can't rely on him to be a 35, 40-minute per game player like you can Josh Hart. And that's why I think a lot of people will look at this roster right now and say, all right, forget pursuing that third star, get me some really good role players. And a lot of times finding, like, how many teams has Josh Hart been on at this point? Those kind of players sort of like change teams and cycle throughout the league until they really find their footing. So I think that can be risky a little bit as well. Like I think a lot of people look at the stars and the aging and, that could be a bad contract. Finding role players through free agency is really tough too. But a lot of people will go that route just because Embiid and Maxey were so great in this series, and if they came up short in large part because, like I said, 3 through 7 were just not good enough. So I think it would be great to have somebody with that kind of mindset. And Josh Hart specifically seems to epitomize everything that they just don't have. I
know. And this team could also use another a guy that can facilitate, right? That can play the lead guard or point forward. Someone that and that's the one thing we all adore Maxey, right? But when his shot's not falling, like he still has to be able to facilitate. And then maybe that's not truly his DNA, right? Like he's such a dynamic offensive scorer that it's nice to have a secondary guy that can facilitate for you.
Yeah, well, and that's sort of the nice thing about Maxey is not only, he has that two-man chemistry with Joel Embiid, and you want to put him in pick and rolls, dribble handoffs at the top, but he's also an elite catch-and-shoot player. Like, you put him in the corner, and not that you want to put Tyrese Maxey in the corner for too long, but if you have to do that to, make room for another ball handler, he will spread the floor. He will make that shot. He will attack closeouts and get the rim. Because of that, he has that ability to play both styles. I think they look this offense, I think, look cleanest a lot of times when Tyrese Maxey was sharing the court with Kyle Lowry, in part because you had another playmaker there, in part because Tyrese is very good at playing off ball. I do agree. He made steps, I think, as a playmaker and a floor general. He needs to make a couple more. You would love to get a player who can play both on and off ball. That's part of why someone like LeBron or Paul George is so interesting, because they can run an offense as well. I certainly agree. Like, if they could get a 32-year-old Kyle Lowry, that would have, I think, changed the entire series. Unfortunately, you can't do that, but you do have to go out there and look for one of that type.
I got to tell you, I could do this all day. I love talking ball with you. Roster construction, GM Bodner.
Good news. I got some bad news, I suppose. I got some free time over the summer now, so let's talk some hoops.
Listen, we're doing it,
buddy.
Buddy.
In a hotel in India now, but what can you do? I have no control over that one.
I know, me too. I feel you, brother. Great stuff, man. Thank you.
Yep, my pleasure. Anytime.
Here he is, Derek Bodner. Read him, watch him. All PHLY Sixers. Follow him. That's why I love our Sixers coverage here at All PHLY. I mean, Derek, Kyle, the great Devon Givens, right? Kyle Newbeck. It's terrific stuff. We really cut. We know. Well, I love all of our sport coverage here. All right. Coming up, we got the daily grind in a second. I want to get to that. But also at 10:30 to talk ball, Ruben Amaro will join us. So we'll get to talk, Rube. I wanted to geek out today and talk a little ball, a little baseball. So Rube will join us at 10:30. We'll have the Clubhouse coming up at 10. So we usually do the Clubhouse at 10:30. We're going to do the Clubhouse at 10. VG's in Seattle. He's a wacko. He's out of his mind. So we're going to go.
He's already got a lot of nuggets.
Does he really?
Yeah, he's already
He's got
sending them
nuggets
in.
already?
He's good, yeah.
All right. So we'll do the Clubhouse at 10, kicking around. And then we'll get Ruben at 10:30. Looking forward to it, man. So we'll talk some Phillies baseball around 10:30. Now, the brain.
Brad the Brain Feinberg.
Hello, Brain. How are you, buddy?
How are you, buddy? Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, pal. What a weekend, man. These playoffs are wild. How about Orlando's up early on Cleveland, and they just die. Like, they were up big, and Donovan Mitchell said, you know what? I'm taking this game over.
Anthony, Anthony, let me see if I'm on my Wi-Fi. Hang on. The Wi-Fi may be like, give me 1 second here. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
I want to make sure this Wi-Fi is not just here. Give me 1 sec. I think when I was on when I was on the airplane last night, when I was on the airplane last night, my friend, I apologize. When I was on the airplane, I had to take off. I had to switch the Wi-Fi. But anyway, yeah, Mitchell was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, we're bad connection here.
Dead here in this series. Shoot, I'm not sure if I'm still.
Yeah, no, we got a bad connection. I'll tell you what. Why don't you drop off and then reconnect? All right. So why don't we drop off Andrew and then we'll reconnect with him? Of course, Andrew Frazier, our great producer, on top of everything. The big story I thought over the weekend was Anthony Edwards, and we loved Minnesota against Denver in Game 1, and Anthony Edwards, like I like him in the series. Anthony Edwards is just ridiculous. I mean, my new favorite player in the league.
Yeah.
Like when you look outside Philadelphia, he's just tremendous.
Yeah, no, he's my favorite too. I told you too. Like obviously the skill is there, but he's just an absolute dog in the way he plays. He just doesn't care who he's going up against. Like the first round's going up against one of his idols growing up. And he's just, I'm going to beat this guy.
Yep. All right. I think we got Brad. Let's get.
Yeah, I apologize. This should be good now, guys.
Yeah. You're
apologize
good.
to you, but you were saying about Mitchell,
like Sportsbook and Casino app, the Brain. All right, Brain. Let's back to NBA.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell. Look, he needed to win this series, in my opinion, for his career. Utah did not have any success back when he was this franchise player there. Obviously, last year is a big favorite against the Knicks. They let he did horrible and they lost that series. I believe in 5 games. It was absolutely just an atrocious showing by them. But Anthony, I got to tell you, I mean, to me, Orlando was the most limited of these teams in the East, and they still took them. Now, I know Jared Allen wasn't there. I get it. But I think they showed, Anthony, and I would be shocked. Tell me if you agree. I'll be shocked if they win 2 games in this series.
Yes. Celtics in sweep or 5. They'll overwhelm that team. They'll completely overwhelm them. The other series, which begins tonight, which I cannot wait. Because I think I was surprised the Knicks are 6.5? I think it's
5.5. I think it's 5.5. Let me double check on the Park site right now. They're actually 6. Yeah, 6, Anthony.
I
They're
think that's too
6.
high.
You know, I
You
thought
like the
this should
Knicks?
come in around 6. I think the Knicks are the better team. I do. I think the Knicks will win this series. I really do. I don't think Indiana is that good. I think the Knicks are better. I think the Knicks are tougher. I think the Knicks will win this series. I'm not looking to step in front of the Knicks here. I'm not. Now, Indiana, do they have certain good players? Sure, they do. But I don't think Halliburton, Anthony, in my opinion, having watched this Pacers team all year, when he got injured, which was, I want to say, about 10 weeks ago, give or take, he's come back and he's played well, but he has not been, if you remember, Anthony, the first 30 games of the year, he was playing at an incredible, incredible level. I feel like his play, and I think at the end of the year, if he were to talk about it, I don't think he's necessarily fully back. And I heard him say he even came back a little early, trying to, even for contract reasons, he can get all, if you're all NBA, you get X amount of money or whatnot. I don't think he's fully right. I like the Knicks, my friend. I really do.
I hear it. Like when it comes to the series, I think you're probably right. I think the Knicks will win, but I like the Pacers tonight. I think the spot is a good spot for Indiana.
Sure.
I want to watch the game. I want to watch it because I'm real interested to see how Indiana's pace and how Indiana's scoring will go. Because obviously the Knicks play defense. They rebound, they grind you. But Indiana can move the basketball, and they move fast, and the Knicks move slow. So I'm curious at the style. It's funny. It's like if Indiana's playing Boston, they get destroyed, right? Because Boston can score and Boston can play pace. The only reason why I'm hesitant with the Knicks is that it's a clash of styles. And look, between Halliburton, and I agree with you, I don't think he's 100%, but between Halliburton and Siakam and the way they move the ball and the way they can shoot it, and Miles Turner and their offense, I think they could stress the Knicks a little bit.
Yeah, Anthony, look, I think that's all fair to say, and I'll tell you this. I was a little surprised at the series price. I think on Parks it's around minus 265, somewhere in that area. I didn't think it was going to come in that high. I'll be honest, Anthony. I really didn't. They're basically saying the Knicks are going to kill this team. And while I think Knicks are going to win, I wasn't, to me, as obvious as they're making it with the series price. Series price to me is actually a little high.
What's the games? Like, could you take the Pacers plus
plus like 1.5 game? Yeah, I mean, let me try to bring that up right now. But yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. What are the Pacers plus maybe like plus 1.5 games?
Because I think the series goes 6.
Well, then you'd need to get 2.5 games in that case. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I can.
I think they can push the series. I mean, 7's probably asking too much, but
yeah, I mean,
think they can beat them twice.
They look. They could. Here, hang on. I'm clicking on series markets. They have 265 with the favorite. Okay, series props. Okay, you could take them plus 1.5 minus 103. Now you could take them plus 2.5 minus 235, or you can in essence combine the two. Anthony, you could take them plus 2. Let's suppose you take 100 on both. You're putting up 235 on one bet, 103 on the other, so 338. Doing quick math, that's about $1.69. You could be laying plus 2 games. So the only way you lose money would be if the Knicks win in 5.
Yeah. Well, I like that. I like that strategy because I don't think the Knicks steamroll this team.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Pacers. What I like, Anthony, what you're saying about that, the Pacers to me are those kind of team where they're going to have at least, you figure, minimum one night where they're just everything's going their way, right? Where they just score, and they just have a great offensive performance. Even if the Knicks are playing their grinded out way, I'm sure there's going to be at least one game that Indiana just probably trucks this team by at least 15 points. I will make you. There's one game here that they not only win, but they blow this Knicks teams out. Because Indiana's that kind of offensive team where if they get going...
It'll happen at home, too.
It'll happen, yeah. There's going to be a game where they truck them.
In Indiana, it's loud and it's very college atmosphere there.
I have a question for you. On a side note, I told my son, we always go to one NBA playoff game during the playoffs, Anthony. I go, look, where do you want to go? OKC, Dallas, because that has to be this week. And OKC, Dallas, New York, Indiana, or Minnesota, Denver. Which one would you have chosen? You don't know the answer.
To me, it's not even a question. Minnesota, Denver, because I want to watch. I love Anthony Edwards.
You worked with him, right? In that movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Loose. To say we worked together is loose, but
Well.
we were in the same
In
film.
my head, Anthony, you're a
And
superhero, so I always think of
I love you.
in my head, I'm telling the truth.
I appreciate you, man. But it was funny, without a doubt. So where are you going? Are you going to
Minnesota? Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota. Yeah. I actually told him, I'm like, I can't. I hate the Knicks so much. I go, I don't think I could watch that team play.
No.
And so yeah, he's like, I actually think, Anthony, you can argue, and I know me and you talked about it last week on the show. I think we both picked Minnesota. I know we both thought Minnesota with the price we loved. I think you can argue, Anthony, that Minnesota and Denver are the two best teams in the NBA.
Definitely.
I really don't think that's hyperbole. I think both these teams could be better than Boston. And I got to tell you, I love the way Minnesota plays. I love their combination of offense and defense. I love their combination of youth.
Towns, right? Yeah. And Edwards are
such a great length.
And listen, they get good point guard play. I mean,
he's still good. He's still good. You know what he is? He's what it's funny. I just heard Derek saying he's what you wanted Kyle Lowry to still be.
Yes.
Right? They've had similar careers. Both guys have been great. Both guys have had tremendous careers. One guy still has a little bit left in the tank. The other guy's, kind of kaput.
Yeah. No, that's spot on. It's funny. You were talking about Halliburton not being 100%, but Luke is still, you could see he's not 100% either. Watching him Friday night, like
he's touching his leg every second.
He's the best, right? He makes a pass to Kyrie Irving that was like Mahomes from one end to the other,
great analogy.
Amazing. But he's still, you can see his feet, like that knee, still bother him because that shot is just off.
Anthony, one of my favorite things to say is, and you're always so spot on your analysis. First of all, he said he's not going to be healthy until the offseason. Okay, he's telling you the answer to the question. But we always talk about, and from a betting point of view specifically, Anthony, sometimes we, including myself, by the way, I'm still always trying to get better. We treat these players like they're John Madden characters. Because you see Luka playing, he's fine. He's healthy. You put me out there with that leg, I wouldn't even be playing. I'd be too afraid. I'd be like, these guys are tough as nails. These guys play through stuff that me and you can only dream of. I have so much respect for these professional athletes. I really, really do. And we don't know. I mean, Luka, again, at this level, to beat the best of the best teams, you need Luka to be a superstar, not Luka to be a great, great player. Kind of like Embiid against the Knicks, right? He still was putting up good stats, but it wasn't the Embiid we saw the first 35 games. I feel like this is not the Luka we've seen the first 80 games.
No, I completely agree. So with you. And by the way, just continue the playoff talk. The NHL playoffs are just ridiculous. Could you imagine that the Maple Leafs have lost 4 Game 7s to the Bruins since 2013? Like,
that's amazing. I did not know that. Wow.
My man JP brought it up to me this morning. I was like,
that's a great stat.
It is. Like, you want to talk about I'm your daddy moment.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's the whole, I did not know. That's a great, wow, that is a good find by him on that. That's amazing because we've lived in Toronto. Just think about what we'd be talking about, right? I can imagine the sports media there talking about how they can't get over the hump. And look, I mean, obviously they actually won the last 2 games that Matthews didn't play, ironically enough. But I mean, look, what are you going to, again, look, as we talk about, Anthony, sports it's a win or lose league. It's a make or miss league, and that no one wants to hear the excuses. Either you get there or you don't. Toronto hasn't. Our Sixers haven't. That's what it is. It's the bottom line. Either you do it or you don't. Toronto hasn't.
You got to get that right. All right. So who do we have for today? What do we got?
Yeah, I got some stuff, my friend. Isaiah Hartenstein, Anthony. Okay.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, Frank. Yeah, man. The guy. Look, I'll say this, Anthony. I don't want to get off topic, but real quick, Anthony. Name another team in the NBA that you could think of. That didn't have like a top 3 pick or a top 2 pick or whatever, like getting a LeBron or a Wembanyama, or sign a massive free agent at the time, like a LeBron at the time, that really was at the nadir of the NBA, which the Knicks were, and have just risen from the ashes. Now, again, Brunson, they got lucky, but no one, not even Mrs. Brunson or Rick Brunson, thought he was a top 10 player at the time. I don't think I've ever seen a team rise the way the Knicks have without getting a Wembyana lucky player, a LeBron lucky player. What they've done and the way they've done it, and they've signed these guys that no one wanted, like Hart, DiVincenzo. I think it's one of the most amazing things I've seen in the NBA, because the NBA is the hardest sport, in my opinion, to rise from the ashes. But curious if you could think of a team that you could.
No. I mean, I think your analogy's right on. I mean,
But
think about
Harden's-
DiVincenzo. Like, that was a good sign. Milwaukee,
Great signing.
Milwaukee messed up. Like, I was
A lot of teams, but not just Milwaukee, Anthony. A lot of teams messed up. Let's say a lot of teams messed up. But Isaiah Hartenstein, Anthony, in games Mitchell Robinson's played, Hartenstein's only averaged 6.8 points a game. Hartenstein, they made his over-under 10.5. He's averaging closer to 8 for the year. 10.5 is too high. 10.5 is too high. Give me Isaiah Hartenstein. He averages 7.8, under 10.5. I would have made this 8.5. I think this is actually 2 points off, okay? Which is rare for me to get that. Next, I'm going to stay in that same game. Jalen Brunson, Anthony, sometimes it's just right in front of you. 13-3 his last, 10-3 his last 13, over 34.5 points. I see no reason to fade him against an Indiana team that's not great defensively. And Anthony, he plays 40-some minutes. He shoots the ball every time.
No, that's a great over. Great over. They have no one to guard him.
They have no one to guard him. Yeah, exactly. I know it's a high number, and your first initial reaction is 34.5. God, who scores 35? Yeah. The answer is Jalen Brunson. Yeah. And then last one, Anthony, I'm going to give you Jaden McDaniels, under 4.5 rebounds. The juiceness, I think, was minus 155 on Parks, minus 157, something like that. But he's 55 and 17 of this under the year. He only averaged 3 rebounds. Even with the added extra minutes, Anthony, I still think this is a 2 out of 3 winning bet. Jaden McDaniels, Minnesota, under. And I got a great pizza bet, Anthony, that I really like. Pete Alonso on Parks, plus 540 to the home run. This isn't even a pizza bet. I made this a regular bet. Plus 540 to the home run. He should be plus 2 something, plus high 2s. This is double what the price should be, Anthony. You're getting a gift. Going against your old friend Kyle Gibson, they're pricing Pete Alonso as a 25 home run guy. He's a 45 home run guy, Anthony. You know that. 25 home run guy? No way, Jose. Especially against a below average pitcher. Love Pete Alonso, plus 540 on the Park site to hit a home run.
Wow. The big brain. Make sure you go and follow him at Brad's Best Bets. Sign up with him at bradsbestbets.com. Nobody does it better. He's the brain. That's why we love him. Brother, you're the best, buddy. Thank you.
Look forward to tomorrow. Pete Alonso, baby.
Pete Alonso. Wow, that is a stiff price. That's wild. All right. Thanks, buddy. We'll come back, and don't forget Clubhouse on the horizon. And then our buddy, Ruben Amaro. We'll talk to Rube about some fightings coming up in a bit at around 10:30. But let's talk about Rite Aid. Look, Rite Aid, your local neighborhood pharmacy. I tell you about it all the time, man. I tell the story of my Aunt Cookie, who I adored. She was like my second mother. My mother and Aunt Cookie were sisters, and she was the greatest. She was very ill, though. She had a terrible disease called scleroderma, and so she had a lot of meds. And so we would always go to the neighborhood Rite Aid in South Philly, and they would always be so kind to her and all the pharmacists, and, we're always going in and out of there. And you become, the pharmacy, because of health issues and even something small like allergies we talk about all the time, or vaccines, becomes a part of your routine. And you need people you can trust. And I love the Rite Aid people. They're amazing. So look, when it comes to vaccines, people have a lot of questions. You can ask your Rite Aid pharmacist. You can book a vaccine appointment today. Schedule yourself or your whole family at riteaid.com/schedule. I mean, stage A, the health restrictions may apply. You can ask a Rite Aid pharmacist for details. Rite Aid pharmacists in Pennsylvania can immunize ages 18 plus 1 day for most vaccines, ages 3 plus for flu, and for COVID, they can vaccinate for COVID-19, shingles, pneumonia, tetanus, whooping cough, chicken pox, all right? All that stuff. With shingles, man. I just got done telling you about Aunt Cookie. Her son, my cousin Joey, had the shingles. It was not fun, all right? Make sure you do it. About 1 in 3 people in the United States will get shingles in their lifetime. If you have chickenpox and you had it, you're at risk for shingles, and it's terrible. All right, it's miserable. Check it out. RiteAid.com/schedule.
All righty, cuz. Well, listen, cuz was telling us a little bit about those Primos, and I can't wait to dive into those Primos after the show. But you guys know me. When it comes to hoagies, pizza night, taco night, whatever it may be, I need a nice classic soda. But listen, I'm trying to take care of the figure a little bit, trying to take care of the health. I want to have a long life here, so we're making some smarter choices. That's why with our sponsor today, an Olipop, we're making those smarter choices, ladies and gentlemen, because it is an amazing can of soda, and it tastes like the real deal. It's the world's first functional soda with a classic soda taste and the benefits of plant-based fiber, prebiotics, and other botanical ingredients to support that gut health, ladies and gentlemen. And the soda only has 2 to 5 grams of sugar with 9 grams of fiber per can. You can't go wrong with that. And the best part about it is they're available in over 30,000 retailers nationwide, including their most recent launch and our favorite, Wawa, ladies and gentlemen. You can get it right at your local Wawa. Wawa has some of the classic flavors like the Coca-Cola, classic root beer, and strawberry vanilla. These are some of my favorites on a day-to-day basis. But listen, we got you guys always with that promo code. So if you're watching live right now on YouTube, take a little gander on the bottom left of the screen. You can see the promo code PHLY20. And that will get you 20% off your next Olipop order. However, this discount only applies to one-time orders, not subscription orders. And Olipop is sold online at drinkolipop.com or on Amazon. But listen, we talked about Wawa, but you can go to your local Target, Sprouts, Wegmans, ShopRite, or GoPuff, you name it. So this upcoming Friday for pizza night, you guys get your pizza and an Olipop, and you guys will thank me later. Thank you to our friends over at Olipop.
All right, buddy. How about this?
How about it?
How about this day? Fightings. All right. Tomorrow's the NHL draft lottery.
That's right.
So we got to get lucky. We got to get lucky.
We need Brad's luck there.
Yeah, we need the Brad. Yeah, Brad's got good luck. You got to. Can you do that?
Forever.
Can you do the cross both the fingers?
I feel like we're doing
My
gang
man.
signs, cuz.
Yeah, you got it. Nice job. All right, time now for the clubhouse. Let's bring in to the clubhouse live in Seattle at his hotel. Where are you staying at there, VG?
I am staying at the W, downtown Seattle.
Nice. Violations,
Yeah,
Greg Caputo, live from Seattle. You look good there, dude.
Yo, check out what I found out here.
What'd you find?
Hey, let's go.
Wow, that's awesome.
Little Olipop ginger ale.
There we go.
How is the Olipop ginger ale?
I like it. It's probably my favorite of them. It tastes, a little healthy. It tastes like real ginger in there for the gut health. So it tastes good. I like it.
Yeah, I'm
There
a
you
ginger
go.
ale fan. In my house, we love the ginger ale.
That's great. It's a great item to
Especially when you're like a little sick. And the kids are always saying,
exactly.
the ginger ale is always like the key to that.
Now we go with the Olipop.
You go Canada Dry. What do you do?
So I do it all. She does the Canada Dry. She does the
Schweppes.
Seagrams.
Seagram.
Yes.
Little 7 and 7.
All right.
Yes.
We're Canada Dry House only.
I want to do the Olipop ginger ale. That sounds
The
delicious.
Olipop ginger ale is great.
All right. So you're in Seattle for a conference, right?
The Pegan's got a conference.
with the Wicked.
Yeah. The Wicca's got a conference. I'm tagging along. The weather's been miserable. It was so cold,
It's sunny
right
windy,
now.
and rainy. It looks good today. The sun's out today, so today should be a good day.
So what are you going to do? What are you going to walk around? You're going to go hang out?
Yeah, you go get some herbal stuff at these legal places, and you wander around the streets a little bit. Go to some dive bars. I was at a great dive bar yesterday called Linda's. It's been around for like 40 years. So yeah, I'll try and track down another one of those, maybe another nice cocktail bar tonight, maybe.
There you
Enjoy
go.
the city.
Seattle's like it's a fun town. I've been there a few times. It's fun. It's a good town.
Dude, I'm walking around like a proud peacock with this Phillies hat on. You know how
you
rare
go.
it is to walk around when you got the best team in the league? Everyone can just look with envy on you right now.
Well, it was funny. I was just talking about this to start the show. Not only are they the best team, but they're unbeatable at Citizens Bank Park. You're talking about
What is their overall home record?
Dude, they've won 9 in a row there, right? Like, think about establishing dominance at home and what that means for the playoffs. We know that come the playoffs, it's hard to win at Citizens Bank Park for the opponent. And they just solidify that. And they're just playing such great ball.
13-6. That's their record right now at home.
13-6.
Yeah.
Yeah, total dominance. And Logan Webb's a good pitcher.
Yeah.
Well, I love their approach last night, right? They were patient last night. They ran his pitch count up. It was a big deal.
And coming off a game, what they put up the night before, 14?
Yeah. 14-3-1.
It's hard to come back the next night,
It's funny. It's the same thing to start the show. How when you have a big night of crooked numbers, the next night, especially against Logan Webb, I felt last night it was going to be a 3-2, 4-3 game. And they came out, and they basically, the home run in the ninth made it close. But it was, they're up 5-1 before Estrada hits his home run. Taiwan Walker
they ran up
pitched well.
I mean, I didn't see a lot of it, but it looked like they ran up his pitch count early.
Yep. Yeah, they did. All right, let's play. We're doing our clubhouse a little early because we have Ruben Amaro. The great Rube will join us coming up to talk some fightings. But let's do our usual. The best and the worst of the weekend in the clubhouse. Let's start off, VG. I'll start off with you. Give me your best of the weekend.
You know what? I saw this on Twitter. I think maybe it was a pregame. Maybe it was during the game. Kate Flannery from Meredith from The Office. Shout out.
This team, this organization, it means so much. And there's so much heart, and I'm just really proud to be from Philly, and I love these guys. I think they're the best bunch of weirdos I've ever met in my life. Not met. I feel like I met them already.
Oh, that's fabulous.
I dig her.
Yeah,
she's always giving her Philly love, man.
Yeah, man, she rules, man. I love being from Philly. Like, that's who we are in a nutshell.
Right.
We're Megan Flannery. That's who we are. We have such immense pride.
That was awesome. Love that clip.
All right, what was your best?
You got the clip, Andrew?
Oh, you got a visual daily double too?
You have it, Andrew? All right. So listen, it is soccer related. We always have this conversation about the MLS,
right,
and the quality and how it's hard. And it's a very valid. You know me, I'm a reasonable soccer fan. The quality of it is tough for a lot of people. But this past Saturday, the Union needed a win, needed to get some type of points. And then Jack McGlynn, one of our youngsters, 20 years old, scores an absolute beautiful goal, back-to-back games. Put it up, Andrew.
And Harriel again does well to keep it with McGlynn. Approaches and has a hit. Jack McGlynn! That is an absolute banger to draw this game level. The sweetest of left feet. It's 2-0.
That's a great call. The sweetest of left
sweetest of left feet.
Yeah, I love that.
So he's a foot guy.
So the thing is last Tuesday, the Union had Seattle at home, and he had a similar type of goal, but from the left-hand side. This time it's from the right-hand side.
He's a stud, man. That was a shot.
So keep an eye out for him. The young Irish-American Jack McGlynn. He may be getting sold soon, but that was very cool to see. Quality, quality. We're trying to bring it here.
Yeah, that was good stuff. I don't want to sell him.
Yeah, that's another topic for another day.
You guys have to explain to me that. Listen, I'm a novice. Like I always say, I admire the sport, but like you get talent like that, you want to keep it.
You do. But the thing is you got to remember, like we talk about, the MLS is not the Premier League yet.
That kid's
you should see some of these Brazilian kids. Like these 16-year-old kids are getting sold for like $3-4 million. It's insane.
Yeah, that's wild. Wow.
Jack McGlynn.
All right. Worst of the weekend. What we got, VG?
My inability to gamble out in Washington. Come on, this state I can get marijuana anywhere I want. I can't place a bet. Bet Parsons got to get out here and start lobbying this state. Like, what are they thinking? I can smoke weed and order $180 worth of snacks and crazy food, but I can't place a $3 same game parlay. Like, get the hell out of here. That is the worst of that's my worst of my day so far.
What are you going to do all week long? When are you coming back?
I come back Friday morning. I'm on a red eye. I'll be in the studio, like right off the plane.
Look at this guy.
What are you going to do? You got to go all week.
I got to get my dad. I got to call my dad to get my dad to log into my Bet Parks account and start making bets for me back in PA. It's ridiculous.
That's awesome, VJ.
All right, what's your worst of the week, JP?
Worst of the week. So, right now on Netflix, which we probably should talk to TV Todd about it on Friday, but looks like our old friend, Mr. Tom Brady's got a roast. He's going to get roasted, right? So this guy.
I am so out on the Brady roast. I saw some of the highlights of it. I guess he didn't like the Bob Kraft joke or whatever, the massage joke.
Yeah, but talk about rent-free, cuz he brought up Philadelphia, right? So this is a quote from him. So he goes, Philly fans are a bunch of racist a-holes, but Kevin Hart's from there. So I understand. And then he goes on to say, Philly has to grease their poles when they win a championship. And how they do that is by rubbing someone from Philadelphia on them.
Oh, wow. He went ethnic. Basically called us grease balls. Yo, dude, Tom Brady called us grease balls. Yo, dude, I got to get the anti-Italian defamation league on Tom Brady.
And, he's going to call Philly a bunch of racist asshats. He's from Boston. Like, come on. It's like a city of racist asshats.
Racist. Boston, racist.
Right. I saw that Celtics Lakers doc.
We're not like that. It's horrible.
Nah. We're like the most diverse city in the big city in the top 10.
Foes.
Yeah, right.
Foes. You bastard. The last thing I'll do, I am so aggressively uninterested in anything Tom Brady.
I mean, same.
Seriously. That's the one thing I cannot consume.
Yeah, no,
is Brady.
Yeah, but talk about all these years. Now he's got all this. I mean, I get it's a roast, but like he's got all this to say about Philadelphia.
Rent free.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
People are still bringing up the fact that he didn't shake Foles' hand after the game.
Yeah. He's a baby. I'm out.
Scumbag.
Scumbag Brady. Boston. All right. VG's
my lighting's
Nubs.
pretty good with the straight down the middle.
What's that?
My lighting's pretty good. I got this shadow cast over half my face.
You're glistening, VG.
Yeah, you look scary. You look frightening right now. You look like
more frightening than usual.
A frightening figure.
You look like Tobias Harris.
Whoa. Hey.
That's an insult, man. Don't say that.
All right.
I can make a bucket.
VG's Nugs.
All right. We all see the Derby. Anyone watch the Derby?
No. I did, yes. I was watching.
In fact,
Jason Worth.
Andrew was a winner.
I was.
That's great. He did text us that.
Thank you. I did, yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was great. Coming home from the movies, we went to go see Civil War after TV Todd recommended that movie. Very good. And my girlfriend's reading off the list of all the horses. And she's like, what name do you like? And, she's reading them all off. And then she says, Mystic Dan. I'm like, Mystic Dan, that's a sweet name. So on the way home, I'm like, that's my horse. I'm picking Mystic Dan. This is probably an hour and a half before the race happens. So, I was like, you know what? I'm going to put some money down on Mystic Dan. And what do you know? Mystic Dan wins the whole thing.
Mystic Dan. That's amazing.
That's awesome.
All the time that Dick Girardi spends watching races, pouring over jockeys and trainers. And there's Andrew going, I like Andrew and his girl. I like Mystic Dan. If I'm Dick, I'm going, oh my God, I freaking hate this sport. In fact, Eddie Barkowitz said the same thing because he's just handicapping it. And, I like the name. Oh, that's great.
Sounds like one of those front-running fans like, oh, I'm a Magic fan because I like the name.
It sounds like me picking the NCAA brackets.
Yeah. I like their colors. I like their uniforms.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jason Worth was so on point looking at this Derby. I think we got a picture. Look at that.
With the red tie.
Look at that.
Wow. He looks cool,
Dude,
Worth.
How good looking is this guy? Like, name a generation we wouldn't be good looking. Like ancient Greece, Jesus, the Wild West, Knights of the Round Table. The guy's always rocking it.
Yeah, and he's cool, man. He's got a cool factor. Worth's got a cool factor. That's a good look at right there.
Dude, check out this next picture. Look at the chicks.
Ooh.
Look at them. Look at them eyeing them up. They're eye-hopping them.
Bounce.
Oh, yeah. All the girls. All the ladies. All the ladies love
Jason
We're going to get all the ladies.
You know, Brad Marsh is he's coming up in the same kind of realm because the ladies go crazy at the ballpark when Marshy comes up.
Yeah, Brandon Marsh, same thing. They love Brandon. It's the beard. It's that look.
That's sooty.
Yeah.
Yeah. The forearms. They love the forearms.
Good Jesus look.
Yes. The Jesus look. I wish I could grow the Jesus look. I can't. It grows out.
Yeah, you get the fro too. That happens to me.
Yeah.
I did it one time. I had it pretty long.
You could do that?
Like to my shoulders, I had it, yeah.
Yeah, you could do that. You should do that, dude.
Yeah, I got the straight hair.
You should go for Jesus.
The Jesus? Grow the beard?
Go for Jesus. Yeah.
All right.
Do it for Jesus.
It'll take me like 8 months, but I'll do it.
How about you, VG?
Oh, I got a Jesus look. I got a Jesus look picture from back in the day in college. I'll have to show
I
it to
bet
you.
you could. You had that type of
yeah, dude.
Back in the day. Yeah.
This next nugget pains me because it's someone I really love. Our own Charlie O'Connor. He went on Twitter railing on Ranger. Taking a lot of heat from it, too. Yeah. He's like deflating our Ranger balloon. Saying he talks about his last ERA. He's not an ace. And then he goes off about just let him be good so that when the likely regression hits at some point over the next couple of months, you won't be livid at him.
I mean,
and he's got another comment a little below that.
I mean, listen, he's not completely wrong, but he's obviously like going a little too far.
I disagree.
You don't think he's going to have a little bit of a down period? It's hard to pitch that consistent for the rest of the year.
Okay, I'm not expecting him to have a microscopic ERA, but I think he's good. I think this is legitimate.
Yeah. No, he's good.
I don't think there's the regression that's coming.
We'll have to get Charlie on here.
He's reached that piece, and I can't wait to talk to Ruben Amaro about this. He's reached that piece where I expect him to be an upper echelon pitcher. Right? Whether you call him an ace or a high 2, I think he's got that ability. He's got that stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna need Charlie to declare because Twitter is it's a different animal. Because you tweet stuff, you take it the wrong way. I want you to
see the last tweet on the bottom.
What do you mean by regression? You think he's gonna
he thinks he's gonna I think he's thinking regression from years. My point is that what we've seen prior to this year is different, right? He has full spring training. There was no issues, right? Injury or his paperwork, all that stuff. I think he's now reached that piece in his career where you're going to see him be an upper echelon pitcher.
Yeah, I think so. I just don't think that he's gonna what he's pitching right now is fantastic. He's gonna take a little bit of dip, but I agree. He's a good pitcher and he's shown that.
No dip.
No. Yeah, and the last though, you couldn't see it got cut off. He's like, I love Ranger, but he's not going to keep this up. Come on, just let us enjoy this, Charlie. Come on, doesn't he have a draft lottery to worry about? Come on, dude.
Listen, he's Mr. Logic. He loves, and that's his thing.
Again, listen. I understand. I appreciate the logic piece of it, but again, I think he's missing it. I think he's missing the stuff. I think the stuff's legit.
I'm telling you, we're gonna get Charlie on here.
I think he knows how to pitch.
He does. He's listen, ice in the veins.
Charlie!
No, I agree with you. I mean, look at the playoff runs in the last couple of years and him pitching in the playoffs. He's always been consistent. He's always been one of the more dominant guys in the rotation. And I think, like you said, having that full season underneath him, starting
full spring training,
this full spring training, exactly.
Charlie,
yeah, boo Charlie.
Does he think Rangers gonna fall apart in the playoffs? That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to understand exactly what he's saying there.
I'm gonna boom. What time are they coming in today?
1 o'clock, I think.
1 o'clock.
I think around that time.
We're gunning for you, Charlie O'Connor. All right, what else you got?
Dude, the Nationals revealed their alternate uniforms yesterday. Did you see these?
Bad, isn't it?
Dude, I mean, a 7-year-old could design these. They're basically all white with a Capitol building with a W on them. Come on.
Oh, it's terrible.
That's awful.
Hideous.
That looks like my kids' uni's way better.
No, but BG, didn't the Capitals do something similar to this before with the hockey jerseys?
I do not know, but this is so plain.
That's bad.
Yeah. I will show you my son Massimo's alternate jersey. It's better than that.
Yeah, dude, I would imagine it is.
It is. You should see these kids. These jerseys these kids have today, they're ridiculous. Like they're actually, they're so cool. They're like big league unis. It's ridiculous. Way better than that. You have an alternate uniform. You're going to go with that?
That's terrible.
It looks like he's going to the Hamptons.
Yeah, it's rough. Hey, I got one more. I got breaking news. Like apparently, Violations Pops is watching, so he just texted me one of my Jesus pictures. So I sent that to Andrew, so maybe he can get that up.
Oh yeah, he
got
Jesus picture.
Yeah, dude, look at that.
Oh, look at that.
Dude, you're a rocker. Look at you.
Oh yeah, dude.
You already headbanging.
You got the headband. That's me and the Wicked way back in the day.
Oh my God!
Great picture, man. I love that.
Dude, that's awesome. Look at that. I knew you had the long Jesus hair.
Yeah, as soon as I would get out of Catholic school, I could grow it, and I started going bald. It was like a curse.
That's awesome. Let me see now, clean shaven. There it is.
There it is.
Looks good like a shave though.
Yeah, we got one more, man.
All right, what do you got?
Talk about like cue balls and domes. Oh, Brad. I finally found the secret to Brad's success, I think. He's got a crystal ball on his shelf these days.
Wow. Brad, the reason why Brad wins all the time is he's in a cult. He's in part of the
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Crystal ball.
Oh my God, talk to the Wicked. He might have sold his soul. Like, you ever see those old Twilight Zones? Brad is the dude that sold his soul to the devil so he can pick sports.
Dude, it's like there needs to be a mission. Like, hopefully he's got good security. Like, the quest for Brad's ball, and then you get all his prop powers. He's like propless.
We got to pull a job, man. All right?
Yeah. A heist for Brad's ball.
We'll dress JP up, right? And we'll make him like to be the cable guy. Because Brad still has cable, right? So I still have cable too. So
yeah, I got cable too.
Yeah. So he'll go in as the cable guy to Brad's house, JP.
Okay.
And you got to steal the crystal ball. Are we good with
it's
that?
like an Indiana Jones
I'll
kind
steal
of
it. I'm going to take it to Camden for the Sixers because they can use that one.
I love that. I got a couple things for you guys. So yesterday, of course, was Cinco de Mayo. Is there anything better that goes better than the homemade tortilla chip and the margarita?
Oh, I mean, I love
Is there a better pairing than those two?
Well, what do you eat the chip with, first off?
Homemade salsa. Like if you got the fresh salsa with the onions and the tomatoes, like the chopped up, like the good stuff. Not
good combo.
So I like that. The onions and the tomatoes and stuff. Yeah.
Pico de gallo. I'm a guac guy. I like the guacamole with the chip.
Okay, yeah.
I like
a
that.
fresh guac guy.
And then I love.
I'm just saying, like the margarita with the chip. Whatever your choice of chip dip is.
Yeah. I also love a good spicy marg. I love a good spicy margarita with the jalapeno.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's my stuff.
Yes,
that's my choice.
Yes, I agree.
You're right.
Like the hot
you're
pepper.
right. That's a good combo.
You got to go like homemade margarita. You can't use the margarita mix. That's it's so easy to make a margarita. You don't need the mix for that at all.
The tahini around the brim. You got to do all that stuff.
Yes.
You know.
VG, if you're in the mood for a margarita in the city, where are you going?
Well, you know what? My buddy, he works at the New Wave Cafe, which doesn't sound like it'd be a margarita spot. My buddy Phil, but he worked at Copa for like 20 years. Copa makes a good margarita, so he's got all the margarita skills.
The Spanish fries and the margarita. That was my first date with my wife.
There you go.
Oh, the Copa?
There you go.
Wow.
I love that.
Wow.
The my buddy Oscar, who's from Tequilas, and Tequilas had a fire. Right, I got to find the place. It's on like 24th Street. I got to remember. I got to dig it out. But Oscar is one of the greatest mixologists you ever want to meet. Like he does the Serrano peppers.
Ooh,
so you get a little bit of a heat.
I'm in.
He does everything. The smoky ones, Oh my God.
That sounds like fun. I'm
Yeah.
in.
No, that like
Yeah,
that's
man, I
a
can't
great
wait for tequilas to come back.
Yeah, I know. We got Jim Steaks come back, but
Yeah.
tequilas is tequilas. I love that place. Right
Yeah,
on
it's a big
16th
void in the
16th
world,
and
in the
Locust.
Philly world.
Let me ask you, because we have a Monday. My new favorite player, Anthony Edwards. I love him.
Yep.
Give me your favorite player outside of Philadelphia. I'll start with you, JP.
My favorite, any sport, or are we talking
Any
basketball?
sport.
Any sport. Oh man, my favorite player. You already took mine, Anthony Edwards. BG, you got yours already?
Yeah, of course.
Go your.
This is my time of year. Like I got my replacement Western Conference hockey team, Connor McDavid. That guy, every time he's on the ice, it's just magic to watch him play.
Dude, I was watching a lot of hockey over the weekend. I miss it.
Yeah, of course. That's the whole reason I'm an Edmonton fan in the playoffs. It's so good to watch, just to have a cheering interest.
Like you're watching, like what we were talking about it earlier. I don't know if you saw this note, but JP unearthed it that the Leafs have lost four times to the Bruins in Game 7s. Like how ridiculous is that?
Yeah, it's the odds of that are just. I would love to have a statistician find the odds of that.
They lost 4 Game 7s. I would look at Boston like, oh my God, I hate it. It would drive you nuts.
Yeah. And as a country, I feel for the whole country. They haven't won a cup since, what, 93?
And I'm watching Dallas and Vegas yesterday going, look at this. Look at this. Playoff hockey's ridiculous.
The buildings are rocking.
Carolina.
Listen, Carolina is what we got to build like. Because they play physical.
Well, I'm watching Brindamore.
Yeah. Oh,
right? And I'm listening to Brindamore because Tony D'Angelo took a bad penalty. He's like, listen, I got no problem. We need to be tough at the Garden.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to Brindamore and I'm going, I got all kinds of FOMO happening.
Well, VG, Seattle's trying to go all in for Brindamore. That's what I'm hearing.
Oh, yeah?
They're trying to get the Brindies. They already let go our boy Hackstall.
Yeah, the Kraken.
I'm watching.
Not a lot of Kraken gear out here.
It's amazing. Laviolette should still be the coach.
Yeah,
right?
I still remember that day a while ago.
Like he's coached. I just don't understand the coaching situation. He's coached 11 different teams since he left the Flyers, and he's always in the playoffs.
That's the thing. They tell these are all like retread coaches. They all just switch teams.
It's bizarre.
Where's Hitchcock?
Yeah. Hitchcock was a big Civil War guy. He was a big Civil War buff.
See, a reenactor?
He loved it. Yes.
He reenact the Civil War?
That was his biggest hobby. Was the Civil War.
That's awesome.
And I'm afraid that we're headed to another one. You saw the movie. The movie's chilling, right?
It very chilling. It's the reality to it is there's parallels to the movie that is going on right now, politics and all that stuff. But yeah, I could definitely see it happening.
All right, I'm going to go real quick with mine because he reminds me a lot of the Lindros, Nathan McKinnon. Just the way he plays with that size, that speed.
Yeah, he's another one.
Toughness. He's fun.
Wow. Yeah.
McKinnon's?
McKinnon's ridiculous. He's absolutely
does it
ridiculous. All right, buddy. Always great seeing
If I got to go hoops, Chet Holmgren, I kind of dig that guy. He's got a little edge.
Yeah, he's a good ball player.
All right, I'm going to go get some coffee. One of these hipster joints.
You're going to go see Frazier? Frazier Crane?
Yes. I have a session with Frazier Crane.
You could be a great psychiatrist. You should try.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sure.
All right, buddy.
We'll do a test session.
We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, buddy.
VG checking in from Seattle for the Clubhouse. All right. What are you talking us about? A little TrueMark action?
Let's talk a little bit about TrueMark, guys, because listen, with the way banks are these days, it could be a little bit scary. We listen to the news, we hear about all these banks closing, and if you have a lot of money, the bank can be a little scared. Now, if you're like me, you don't have $250K in the bank, so you're safe. But 2 weekends ago, I woke up on Saturday, just make sure everything was straight with the bank, straight with the finances, and I get a notice that my bank closed. What do you mean my bank just closed? How do you just go out of business as a bank? That's actually something that happens. Luckily, I'm safe. Luckily, my bank got bought out by someone else. But it is truly scary, and I completely agree with you. So then we had Kristen and Megan from TrueMark, and they kind of explained to me the situation. And I was loving the whole credit union aspect of a bank. And so I started looking into it, and I want you guys to feel the same way because, listen, with today's day and age with banks, you want to feel safe. And so that's why TrueMark comes into place. TrueMark is a credit union, all right? And the difference between a credit union and a regular bank, you become a part owner, which means profits come right back to you instead of going to their shareholders. They have better rates, lower fees, and a better return on savings, and more flexible options with all the same digital tools that you can get at any other bank, which is awesome. It's, we're in 2024. Apple Pay is a thing, guys. And the best part about it, we all love local, right? We love our local teams, our local businesses, including our bank. So that's why we love TrueMark, because they're located right here. They're headquartered in Fort Washington, but they have 24 banks and branches throughout the Philadelphia area, which is awesome. You want to support local. That's one of the main reasons why you want to support TrueMark, because they are local. Becoming a member of a credit union has so many benefits over becoming a customer at a bank. It's a total no-brainer. So here's what you got to do, guys. You guys can see the details at the bottom left if you're watching live, but if not, head on over to TrueMark.com/PHLY to learn more or to find a branch near you. That's TrueMark.com/PHLY, federally insured by the NCUA. Thank you to our friends over at TrueMark.
All right, let's talk about the Parks Casino, Street Road, Ben Salem. You know who's going to be there this weekend, Saturday? Tracy Morgan. I kid you not. Tracy Morgan. Now, he's a Knicks fan bastard, but he's funny. All right, and he puts on a great show. You get incredible headliners at Parks Casino in Ben Salem. Tracy Morgan, Saturday night. Also, coming there, Snooki. Oh, I got to get my man, Jeff. Snooki and Joey from Jersey Shore at Parks Casino, June 28th. Hannah Berner and Paige Sorbo with the Giggly Squad podcast on October 19th. Michael Blaustein, the great comedian, October 25th. All at Parks Casino, the #1 casino experience in the state of Pennsylvania. Parks Casino, this is how you win. They have it all. It's my casino of choice, Parks Casino. 3,200 state-of-the-art slots. They have 115 live table games, a beautiful poker room, state-of-the-art sports book, 150-foot video wall, plus the ultra cool X Lounge dining options. Amazing at Parks Casino. Collection of award-winning restaurants. The Parks Grill Steakhouse, Liberty Bell Gastro Pub and Beer Garden. Delicious sushi and hand rolls at Bamboo Noodle House. Check out New York's best club comedians every other Thursday night, and the best cover bands every weekend at the 360 Lounge. Headliners every weekend at the 1,500-seat Excite Center at Parks Casino. Plus, free parking, valet parking, electric vehicle charging stations for all guests. For all things Parks Casino, visit parkscasino.com. Parks Casino, this is how you win. Got to be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Parks Casino. Coming up shortly, we'll talk to Ruben Amaro, pumped up over the Phillies, and we'll check that out. Yeah, can you believe it, JP?
What's that, cuz?
I can't believe Tracy Morgan. I almost want to go there and just – I can't wait. He's funny. He puts on a great show. But I want to hit him with the finger to start the show. All right? I want to hit him with the finger.
You have a Maxey jersey?
Everybody should wear it. I'm not a jersey guy.
I get it.
You know what I mean? Like, so being the journalist thing in me,
I feel you.
I have them, like, the kids have them and all. I get them for the kids.
You got to bring something.
I'll have like stuff, but not the jersey piece.
Yeah, you got to wear something, or like something that Maxey just reminds.
Yeah, well, no, listen, that moment will last forever.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That moment of Maxey playing Reggie Miller. That is your back in the day moment, by the way.
There you go.
Brought to you by Rite Aid. You got to check out Rite Aid and the Rite Aid pharmacy.
That's right.
But can you believe he's there?
Especially after the Knicks taking care of the Sixers, they're gonna want to come down. He's gonna want to come down here. He's doing a stand-up special, I'm assuming.
Yes.
So there's gonna be some jokes about Philly.
It'll be great. Actually, like that's a must-see.
Yeah.
First of all, he's awesome.
Oh, yeah,
he's really funny. I've always liked him.
Oh, I've loved him.
But that's a classic piece. that's a classic piece.
That's funny. People were making some jokes about the fact Snooki's coming in the comment section as well.
I know. We used to have a dude. I kid you not. His name was Jeff.
Okay.
He loved
Jersey Shore.
Loved Snooki.
Oh, just love Snooki.
He would call me up when I was on the radio.
Okay.
And he would call me up and say how much he loved Snooki.
Really?
I was like, what? And you know, all the jokes, right? Peanut M&M would come out, all kinds of stuff, right? Like all he loved her. You know.
Did you get
there's
down?
a lid for every pot, right?
Did you get down with the Jersey Shore?
No.
My fiance loved that show.
Really?
Yeah, I love that show.
No, dude, I couldn't be as far away from it.
Well, I recently went to Seaside in the past couple months, and they're really trying to steer away from that.
I don't
image.
blame them.
Like they knocked down both those clubs, Karma
really?
and Bamboo.
Well, growing up,
down.
it was like that in Wildwood.
That's what I hear. Yeah.
It was kind of. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely was like that.
Going down there to
A
party.
lot of high, but you know that was in the 90s, like the 80s and 90s, right? Like that was a long time ago.
Yeah, with all the clubs and the beach. They still have some beach bars, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, the beach bar is the best.
Oh, I love the beach bar.
There's a beach bar in Clearwater. It's which is the greatest.
Clearwater.
Like you think about spring training in the Phillies. It's the best. But yeah, no Jersey Shore for me.
Just
that show completely out.
It really was. Obviously, listen, it was huge for pop culture, but then
it was.
But the problem
was also embarrassing.
Well, yeah, like obviously, like me,
for some of us.
Obviously, me, yeah, growing up in South Jersey, I travel outside of this area, and then people were like, I tell people from Jersey, like, oh, like the Jersey Shore, like,
God,
no, like more like
That's
Philadelphia.
horrible.
I don't fist pump. You see my hair, I don't do a blowout. I don't have Ed Hardy on my t-shirt. We're not all like that. The thing is, this Jersey's like so different. Like you have like every walk. Like we have the rural life, we have the city life, the shore life. It's a little bit of everything.
Well, it's a suburb of New York and Philadelphia.
That's we talk about.
I mean, that's what it is. I mean, they really should cut the state in half.
We should.
That's my mission, is to cut the state in half. We get half of it, right? Like, I live in Jersey, so it should be Philadelphia's below
right
exit
there with
9, whatever, right?
That's why, we talk about Charlie. Like, we had this conversation with Charlie O'Connor. Like, the Devils should not even be a franchise. Like, we're representing the state of New Jersey.
I can't wait to talk to Ruben about Ranger, because I think what Ranger is doing is legitimate.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Like, at some point, a pitcher puts things together. A player will put things together.
Yeah.
And listen, if you're an established ball player, I believe in regression.
Yeah.
Like, if a guy's at some point, like we talked about Trea Turner, sometimes guys have down years, but it'll end at some point, and you'll get it back closer to the norm.
Yeah.
There's a reason why the old saying about the back of the baseball card never lies, because ultimately you're going to be around what the back of the baseball card says.
Yeah.
But with Ranger, I think it's true. What we've seen is real.
Yeah. No, you know what's funny too is like we talked about the Sixers and their playoff failures and stepping up to the moment, right? Like playing with cojones. And when you switch it over to baseball, that's the one thing you feel comfortable about in a playoff situation with Ranger Suarez, because he has those cojones. Nothing really bothers him. And so even if like he does give out a solo shot pop, he's going to come back out there with a
K just look at his stuff, right? Like what we see from his stuff this year.
Yeah.
And understanding how to pitch
this year.
Like at some point you go into you come into your own. Like you understand how to pitch.
Yep.
And he's so effortless.
Yeah.
The way he throws.
It does make it look super easy out there.
I mean, this is what it is.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That he always makes it super easy out there. It's just crazy how someone like that could just go out there with just super calm and nothing bothers him. That's the wild part about it. And I just even look at his journey. Like, do you remember like when Joe Girardi was here and we had that Spencer Howard? I hated that kid. And Ranger pretty much was
Spencer Howard. Wow.
Ranger was a babysitter.
He would get winded. He'd get winded on a bunt.
Remember the PB&Js?
Yeah, dude.
But
That was horrible.
But Ranger was literally his babysitter. There was like a 2-month stretch where Joe Girardi was running Spencer Howard, and Ranger had to go save him after two-thirds innings. Look at him now.
And I would understand. We're talking about our own Charlie O'Connor, who's terrific, by the way. Does his on the Flyers, and he's talking about regression. And again, I understand about regression when it comes to baseball, but there's also a point where you go, a guy will get it,
yeah,
and so the back of the baseball card doesn't matter when you're young,
right?
And he's still younger.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah.
Like if he was 31, like I don't know. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure how old he is. But,
Ranger Suarez, he's got to be like in his late 20s there.
But
man does
if
not
you
look
look
that
at
old. 28 years old.
28, right?
Yeah.
He's a different kind of 28.
Yeah.
Because of what he's done and his role and his run. Like sometimes at 28 they bloom. Like I think it's more of a blooming thing than he'll go back to what we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, and like the thing is too is like a lot of the Latin American players, like they play in some hostile environments before coming up here. So like that's the thing. So like we're also like Charlie's obviously talking about regression. Some people may be talking about that as well. But the thing is that when it comes to playoff time, Ranger's going to go out there and he's going to throw his stuff, and that's why you feel comfortable having a guy like Ranger out there for the season.
Without a doubt. But this team it's
fun.
Wow. I mean,
baseball's fun.
When you have a game like Saturday night, where you put up all those kinds of all that run, and then you come back last night against Logan Webb, the approach, we got him. I love him. He does such an amazing job. When you watch your Phillies broadcast, I love him with Barkant, with Mike doing post game. I love him in the booth, man. Because no one gives you incredible insights about the sport than Ruben Amaro. Rube, good morning, buddy.
What's happening, cuz? How you doing, babe?
Listen, your insight, like you've done it all. You played, coach, GM. Nobody knows this game inside out like you. I've said this all the time. I love you in the booth. I love your analysis after the game or post game with Michael Barkant. But your insights to the game are just so you have a unique perspective.
I really appreciate it. I love doing it. And for me to be able to do it with the team that I grew up loving and really understanding. I mean, I got to obviously have a broad history with my dad being involved and on the field and in the front office and all that stuff. But it's been a real joy for me to be able to sit in the booth and to sit in the studios with all those guys, Barkan and Ricky and Ben, T-Mac. I mean, even at times with Fransky, it's been really, really fun to be able to bring, at least a little bit of my perspective to the game.
Well, truthfully, I think we're stealing it because you should be working in the game, but I'm happy that you're here. I mean, listen, you and I go back 100 years since you were a player. But you're an asset to organizations everywhere. But let me ask you about Ranger for a second before we get into last night. And we're having this conversation about regression. Somebody brought up regression for Ranger, but I think his case is different as a 28-year-old. You saw no issues spring training health-wise, right? His paperwork, all that stuff's clean. I look at his stuff. Is it possible for a guy at 28 to kind of show his true colors and who he is? Because I think Ranger is legit.
I don't think there's any question that he's legitimate. And it's not just about the stuff. It's really about the makeup and the person. He's been behind the 8 ball several times in spring training. And it's the first time he ever really had an opportunity to really prepare well for the season as a starter. We forget that the man was closing games when they went to the World Series. I mean, this guy's got ice water in his veins, but I think it's more about his ability to learn how to prepare for a full season and to be ready. And I think he's done that. I love everything about him. I love the fact that he's, he fields his position well. He's a good athlete. He likes to compete. He enjoys being in the spotlight. but his stuff has gotten better. You know, his breaking ball is better. He's more consistent with it. I love his ability to throw his fastball when he needs to on the inner part of the plate, especially to right-handers, to open up the outer part of the plate. He does a lot of things really well, and I always will put my money on good athletes and people who want to compete, and I think he's one of those guys. He's really putting himself in the discussion for Cy Young just because of his overall. Obviously the numbers are great, but he's not doing it with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. He's not doing it with a split that drops off the table. He's doing it with stuff, and he's moving the ball around the plate and pitching. And I think that is that's a wonderful thing, and I hope that his durability will continue through the season.
You know, his motion, his delivery is so effortless. It's so smooth, and it's almost like, it's funny. We're talking about Logan Webb last night about the idea about playing catch, and that's really what Rangers doing.
Yeah, so I totally agree with you. And when I describe him as if you remember Livan Hernandez.
Yeah.
Livan Hernandez is out there just walking in the park and just playing catch with the catcher and grabbing the baseball and getting the sign and believing in JT and just throwing the baseball and throwing to his spots. And when you have that, I think a lot about what it was like when I first got to the major leagues compared to 3 years after I got to the major leagues. When you get to the major leagues in the beginning, you're trying to establish yourself. You're trying to really get your footing, literally trying to get your footing. I remember not being able to feel like comfortable in the box. And then after a couple of years, every at bat was like the end all. And then after a couple of years, you start feeling like, okay, not like it's batting practice, but you have the same sort of relaxation, the tension-free attitude that you need to have. And I think that Granger has really started to perfect that. He's always sort of had it, but you see it growing more and more. And it's it's a confidence thing. It's a thing where, what comes first, confidence or success? But and he's had a little bit of both. So it's really cool to watch him because that's what he looks like he's doing. He looks very comfortable in his own skin. He looks like he's playing catch with JT and or Stubbsy when he catches him. And it's fun to just watch him do his thing and to trust his stuff.
All right, let's talk about last night because I was curious about how it would go last night. You have the big night Saturday with the bats, right? And a lot of times there's a little bit of a cooling off. You're facing a pitcher in Logan Webb who wants to keep you off balance, right? Who's got the incredible changeup that historically will give this lineup some issues. Their patience last night was incredible, Rube. It was beautiful to see. And they ran his pitch count up 72 in the fourth inning. It was what an approach last night.
Yeah, and I think it's just I think there's a bunch of guys in that lineup right now. And, when you start thinking about the lineup, Schwarber's done well, but hasn't gone nuts yet. Harper's done well, but hasn't gone nuts yet. You have some other guys going nuts like Bohm and Turner in parts of the season, but you start to see JT swing the bat well. You start to see Stott is starting to swing the bat a lot better. And I think Marsh is really sort of growing up right in front of us. But it is, there have been concerns in the past, right, about them swinging out of the zone and not having the patience. But I think that they're so confident in passing the baton to the next guy now and the lineup can be so deep that, hey, I can wait to get a pitch that I can handle and I put it in play hard and hope that it works out. If it doesn't work out, I know the guy behind me can do the job. And that's that's a team, concept of confidence in the rest of your guys that you're seeing now. And it's something that wasn't happening early and everybody's in panic. Like, oh my God, this is exactly what was happening against Arizona when they lost in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And everybody's sort of in panic about it. But I think that was a product more of them not getting enough reps in spring training because of a couple of different factors. One, it was about, there was an illness that went through the clubhouse. They didn't get enough at bats. And I think we're in a different era where I think, guys don't get as many at bats. I think it is important. I think it's really important that guys get 50, 60, 70 at bats in spring training to get themselves prepared. And I think what's happened now is they've gotten their 50, 60, 70 at bats during the course of the season to get themselves going. And you see what kind of talent they really have.
It's nuts, isn't it? In football, nobody plays in the preseason, right? Like training camp is nothing. And like I remember spring training, like it was not Club Med spring training. Like you guys worked. Like there was a lot of work that was done in spring training. Not as much.
You're absolutely right. There is not. I mean, they work, but the time on the field, it's probably a little bit more efficient now. But that said, and there are opportunities to go play because of the complex, the way we're set up right now down there in Clearwater. They can have those guys take some at bats on the other field, and they can set up simulated games. For me, I don't think it's the same thing. I think that's all eyewash. I think, they're tracking pitches and seeing pitches, but it's not the same as getting in there against a player in an A game. And I know it's preseason, but I think that there's something about your reaction time, your ability to recognize pitches. I think all those things are really important, and it's important to see them at the major league level, playing against major league teams, so that you prepare yourself for the major league season. And so I think there's a difference there. I know that there's a real issue now, trying to manage, guys' health. And, there's, the whole, you have, the medical people getting more involved in making sure that guys stay on the field longer. And there's a lot more information out there, and they can digitally, see what their outputs are and things like that. But, I think that the bottom line is, like, baseball is in like no other game, in my opinion, that if you don't play the game, you will not prepare yourself to play the game. And you can't simulate game play, taking ground balls or taking batting practice or what have you. You have to simulate the actual game to prepare yourself to play the game. And it's totally different, I think, in baseball than it is in a lot of other sports.
Yeah, you're so right. Hey, real quick, and we'll get back to the big club in a second, but you and your brother David Amaro, so big and David's so big in youth sports, and you guys have an incredible foundation honoring your father and the initiative, which I want you to tell us about.
Yeah.
But do some of the arm problems stem from youth? In that, I mean, they're throwing all year around. Like, they're training all year round. They're throwing all year round. And we talk about pitch counts. It's one thing pitching in a game, but these kids are throwing, all year. They're throwing in the winter. Is that part of the issue, you think?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of issues. I mean, I appreciate you mentioning the Ruben Amaro Sr. Foundation that my brother and I, David, founded. Basically, it's all about trying to give kids opportunities to play. It's so expensive to play in club sports these days. And you want to have every kid, it doesn't matter what his financial situation is, to be able to play baseball. And, it costs a lot sometimes. And hopefully with some of the money that we are able to grab, that we can funnel that money to kids who have an opportunity, who don't have the financial wherewithal to play, to get an opportunity to do it. I think, for me, one of the real issues is, like, we grew up in an era where you had three basically times of sport. You had in the fall, you either played football or soccer. In the wintertime, you played basketball. I did some swimming. And then in the spring, you played lacrosse or you played baseball. And so those were like the three automatics that you would have, automatic breaks in your body where you would be able to basically rest your body. Nowadays, it's gotten so specialized, and I understand the whole process of getting on the field. And it is important to get on the field. My dad always said, to get on the field, you get better. And then that's true. But there's a difference between getting on the field and wearing yourself out. Your bodies, as young kids, are not really physically prepared, and they're not put together in a way such that, doing this motion of throwing it's just such an unnatural thing to do to start with, that if you start putting the kind of stress that's put on by playing 250 days instead of 75 or 80 days, then as a youth, someone younger, your bodies, your tissues are just not able to handle that. They need natural breaks. You need your natural athleticism. You want to be able to do other sports to be able to maximize your ability to play your other sports. And so I think that there is, one example I always go to is Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola did not throw in summertime. He never pitched. Parents just said, you know what, you can pitch all you want for your school, for whatever. And then he ended up pitching like once a week at LSU. He's now the most durable player in the game.
Yep.
Because he long tossed, he took care of his arm, he gave himself natural breaks, and they did a very smart thing of taking care of this young man, and he's taken care of his arm. Now, knock wood, he stays as healthy as possible, but he's been the most durable pitcher in the last 10 years of baseball. There's nobody who pitches more innings. And so, I mean, to me, you basically need to take your natural breaks in any sport to be able to, especially when you're young. I mean, you're 15, 14, 13 years old. Dude, it's insane that people are actually having Tommy John surgeries or having, issues with their arms. I think that's one part of it. The other part of it is there is such a drive for people to throw the ball and spin the ball as hard as they possibly can, and that's going to make their kid get a scholarship at Stanford or at Vanderbilt or whatever the case may be. Well, guess what, guys? If you're not on the field and you break, you ain't playing anywhere. And that's the fact, Jack. And so to me, I mean, certain people have the natural ability to be able to throw the ball hard because of their natural, just like in anything else, just like any other sport. You have a natural ability to do certain things. And there's ways to grow and there's ways to make yourself, to improve. That said, I just believe that you're going to see more of a trend of guys no longer trying to throw it and spin it as hard as you can. That's why guys from the Tampa Bay Rays are going down. They're all getting hurt because they keep spinning it and spinning it and spinning it as hard as they can. And they're having some success at the major league level and they're breaking. And then they're not pitching. And so how is that good? And for Tampa, they're fortunate they have been fortunate over the years. Now it's sort of catching up to them. But they've always had somebody to like take the place of the next guy to take that guy's place when somebody breaks. Well, there's only so much pitching that is available. And so I think what you're seeing is now people understanding and the players understanding.
Yeah.
Like there's guys dropping like flies. You got to stay on the field to perform and to be paid. And if you're not pitching and you're just throwing and spinning as hard as you possibly can, your arms are going to break. It's going to happen. I've read something that 33% of the pitchers in baseball are getting Tommy John.
Yeah,
how insane is that?
Yeah,
that's an insane number. Think about the billions and billions and billions of dollars that are being lost because guys can't stay on the field because they're trying to throw it as hard as they can and they're trying to spin it as hard as they can. That's a bad precedent to set. I mean, if I'm a business owner, if I'm running a business and I have things that are on the shelf that aren't usable and I'm spending billions of dollars on that, I think that I'd like to make a change. And I think people are going to have to start understanding that pitching really does matter. And the unnatural action of throwing a baseball over your axis is a very, very difficult thing to do. People are going to break if you don't take care of your arm.
Yeah. And listen, there's an art to pitching to contact. And there's also the great pitchers. Like you look at Wheeler, if he's got a guy on third and less than 2 outs, he'll go for a strikeout, right? Like he'll look to strike you out. But then he'll look to keep his pitch count, right? He'll look to pitch the contact, throw that heavy ball. Like Halladay was great at it, right? Because here was a guy that understood that you're not going to be able to barrel me up. And there's a reason why pitching the contact is effective and it keeps my pitch count down.
Oh, it's huge. And what the beauty of what I love about our pitchers, our starting pitchers right now, you don't have one guy, even Wheeler's not throwing 97, 98 anymore.
No.
He's pitching. So he's throwing 94 to 96, but he's moving the ball. He's cutting the ball. He's spinning the ball when he needs to. He's carving up the zone, much like many of the other guys are doing. And you're not looking at any of the guys, none of them. Nola's not throwing 94, 95 anymore. He's throwing 92, 93, but they're pitching. And if you can pitch, and if you can carve up the strike zone, and you have the ability to keep guys off balance in some way, shape, or form, that's the art of pitching. When you can get the ball off the barrel and you can have them make soft contact or weak contact, that's the art of pitching. That's what you've seen for hundreds of years.
Yes.
And then there are folks who came into the game who decided, oh, guess what? We're going to make people miss the barrel by making them miss pitches, because we're going to make them throw 100,000 miles an hour and spin the ball at 95 miles an hour. That's great, except it was bad for the game, number one, because nothing was happening. And number two, guys were breaking and they weren't able to throw the ball to a spot. Now that there's some guys who can throw 100 miles an hour and throw to a spot, not very many of them, because it's a hard damn thing to do. But it's a beautiful thing to watch our Phillies pitch and watch how, and I hope, knock wood, they can stay durable, but they're not. It doesn't look like any of these guys are throwing with maximum effort, other than the guys in the bullpen a little bit.
Yes. Yeah.
Because they have some natural breaks. Nobody's going back to back very often anymore. There's no 3 out of 4 reps. So they're getting some breaks there. But I think it's a really, really cool thing to watch, and I hope the trend gets back to that, because starting pitching, when you start thinking about like how many innings you have to log over the course of a season, whatever it is, 9 times 162 innings, and you have your bullpen logging 60% of those innings, you're really in trouble. I mean, how many arms can do it? They just cannot do it. You're putting your organization in jeopardy. You're having to use thousands of pitchers that you don't typically want to use. And so having a guy go long and having guys go 6, 7 innings instead of 4 or 5 innings out of your rotation, it doesn't take a genius. It's never been different. Somehow somebody was changing it, and somebody walked in and decided, oh, this should be different. We should be utilizing, nothing but bullpen guys. Well, guess what? It's going to catch up to you, and it has with a lot of organizations.
That's brilliant. You're so spot on. They get all. It's the sexiness of swing and miss rate, right? Like they're looking at all
Correct.
this nonsense, and it's just not effective. Which is why this Phillies team, my God, they are so good. Rube, look at their home field dominance too. They have turned Citizens Bank Park. We see it in the playoffs every year, and you see it during the regular season. They've won 9 in a row now at home. It becomes a place to play that's scary for opponents. That's such a huge deal.
I remember when we first walked into the ballpark in 2004, and people were like, well, it's too short, and, pitchers will never pitch here, and you'll never win a World Series here because, well, guess what, man? I mean, I know they moved the fences back a little bit and made some adjustments, which was probably necessary. And we did it after the first or second year. But I think by and large, and Charlie Manuel used to talk about this all the time, if you don't want to play here, man, you don't want to play anywhere. I mean, the atmosphere there, the fact that there's a passion by the fans that is like none other, and we all know that because we've seen it for years. But I think there's also the cool thing about this ball club is that they've sort of they build a reputation or a relationship with the fans that a little bit similar to what happened in like '93, where they started to really enjoy being around those players. They got a little character. They're obviously very talented, but they also have embraced, the fans and understand that the fans are passionate and get pissed off when they don't play well, and they cheer them when they play well. And I think they have a good understanding of that. But I also think the fans, the fans are a little kinder and a little gentler, right? They've adjusted. They've adjusted to guys like Alec Bohm and helped them sort of, and Alec, to his credit, did it himself. And then a guy like Trea Turner, who was struggling last year. I mean, you see some things that have happened where the fans have sort of boosted those guys. And I think, and you know this as well as anybody, I think the beauty of the fan base of Philadelphia is that they actually feel like they can affect the game or affect the outcome by the way they behave. And I think it's true. And I think they've started to behave probably a little bit better. Yes, they will tell you that when you're not performing well or not giving the effort, they will let you know and they will boo you. But I think additionally, they've also recognized that that players need some support, and they've been really supportive in that regard too.
You know what I think too has changed? The love. Their love is greater. So their appreciation of really good players has changed. Like, so now they'll celebrate in a different way. You know, like I remember when I was a kid, when you and I were children, you know, they're all nasty, you know, like the great players, they would just eviscerate the next day. But now they
would do
appreciation.
that. I mean, Mike Schmidt was probably the most booed player in the world because the anticipation of him and the expectation of him performing well was so high that when he didn't do it, I remember, I'll tell this story. I think Dave Hollins went 3 for 4 one game, and this is back in 93, 92 or 93. I can't remember. Our team wasn't, in 92, we're not a great team. He went 3 for 4. He had 2 home runs. He had a chance to be bases loaded in his last at bat and drive in another, 4 runs or whatever. And he had already driven in like 7 runs, and he grounds out sharply to second base, and they booed his ass. And I'm thinking to myself, come on, guys. I mean, let's go. I mean, in this day and age, I think the difference is that if he did not and he made an out, he would probably be cheered when he went back to the dugout. I think there's a little bit of a different mindset, and I think you're right. I think that they're respecting the guys that are playing well a lot more, especially if they give effort, man, if they give effort. You know, to me, it's always been about the effort. I was never a good player, but people still try to support me because I tried. You know, I wanted to do well. It wasn't because, I tried. And so that's why Chase Utley, it doesn't matter whether, you never knew whether he was on a hitting streak or whether he hadn't gotten a hit in 3 weeks, because he busted it all the time and he gave it to him all the time. He was blue collar. And I think that the reason why he became the most popular player during an era when they had a lot of chances to have a lot of popular players is because of the way he handled himself and the way he busted it.
Brother, you're the greatest, man. I love talking ball with you. Look forward to
do it all
day
long, baby.
You're the best at it. Love you, brother. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. You be well. Great to see you, man.
There he is, the great Ruben Amaro, hanging out. I love talking ball with him, with Rube. It's fun, man. Diving into it. It's why I love to sit down, JP, where we can kind of go deeper into a discussion and actually discuss what we see.
Yeah, nerd out a little bit. We got some great insight from Ruben, as always, and we get excited for the rest of the week.
Dude, good stuff, man.
Great stuff.
I like that. I like that a lot.
A little furry.
I want to get like a pillow, Andrew. I want a pillow out of that material.
That'd be a nice pillow.
He's got.
Really comfy.
It's like that furry, velourish.
It's a Monday. It's a little dreary here in Philadelphia, so get a little cozy vibes.
It is. You do have the cozy vibes. All right, that'll do it for the show. Thanks always for hanging with us. Busy week. We got the schedule coming out Thursday, so we'll be doing that. Lots to do. A lot of fun stuff planned as always. Have a wonderful day, everybody. We love you. All right? Be careful, and we'll see you in the morning.
We all silly like the mayor.